1. Listen carefully, because what just happened around you was no accident. That strange pause, that unexplainable sign that appeared before your eyes. It was not random chance, and it was not coincidence. Heaven pressed pause on your timeline so this very message could reach you. Every detail of your life, even the stillness you felt, was designed to awaken something inside of you. You are not scrolling by mistake. You are not listening by accident. You are here because God Himself orchestrated this moment. You know that tug in your spirit, that sensation that something greater is happening than what your natural eyes can see. That is not imagination. That is divine confirmation. The world may say it was nothing, just a flicker of thought or a passing shadow. But in your spirit, you felt the weight of it. You are right to believe it meant something. God does not waste signs on people who are not chosen. You saw it because you are marked. Every tear you've cried in silence, every time you wondered if God even hears you, this moment is proof that He does. He has been watching. He has been waiting. And now He interrupts your normal flow because destiny cannot wait any longer. That strange sign was heaven's announcement. Your time has come. Beloved, you were not born to blend in. That sign was a reminder that you were never designed for ordinary life. Even when you tried to fit in, something always exposed your difference. You couldn't hide your light because your spirit is too loud in the unseen realm. Darkness recognized you long before you recognized yourself. That is why your life has been marked with battles that others never had to fight. The resistance you faced was not because you are weak, it was because you are chosen. The reason your path has felt heavier than others is because you are carrying something greater than others. God entrusted you with a mantle that ordinary souls could not bear. So your trials had to refine you beyond normal limits. Every setback became a silent rehearsal for your rising. Every rejection prepared you to recognize true acceptance when it comes from above. That sign was heaven's confirmation that your difference is not a curse but a crown waiting to be revealed. You were designed to disrupt darkness, not dissolve into it. There were nights you questioned whether your struggles meant you were forgotten, but in truth they were proof of your selection. The greater the opposition, the clearer the evidence of your calling. Chosen ones attract resistance because their very existence threatens the plans of the enemy. That moment you witnessed the stillness, the sign. The pause was God's way of telling you that the waiting season is closing and the rising season is beginning. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. You are not overlooked, you are being unveiled. Listen closely, that moment where everything seemed to freeze around you. It wasn't just your imagination, it was heaven saying, pay attention. A sign is not just a picture, it is an invitation. God is calling you to awaken, to rise, to step into the destiny He has been shaping in secret. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk. Think of all the times you should have been destroyed, yet somehow you survived. Think of every time the storm raged, and still you made it through. You are still standing, because you are not finished yet. The sign you saw is confirmation that God is not done with you. In fact, He is just beginning to reveal why He preserved you. And right now, I must tell you this directly. Do not ignore this moment. Do not brush it off as something small. When heaven moves, when the eternal interrupts the temporary It is because your calling is pressing against the walls of delay. Destiny is knocking at your door, and you cannot keep it waiting forever. That restlessness you have felt, the longing that nothing in this world could satisfy, that is the signal of the chosen. You tried to numb it. You tried to silence it, but it never left. That's because God Himself planted it inside you, and nothing earthly can uproot it. The sign you just witnessed was His way of saying, "Now, I'm gone, beloved. You are not ordinary. You are not forgotten, and you are not here by chance." The same voice that called Moses from the burning bush, the same power that raised Lazarus from the grave, is the same hand that placed that strange sign in front of you. Heaven wanted your attention, and now you must decide what to do with it. Do not fear. You are not being judged. You are being invited. This is not punishment, it is preparation. You are being awakened to who you truly are, a chosen one, set apart for a time such as this. Pause for a moment. Breathe deeply. Let your spirit recognize the truth of these words. You already know deep inside. This was not random. This was divine. Now hear me clearly. If this word is speaking directly into your heart, do not keep it to yourself. Like this message, share it with someone who needs to hear the truth. And subscribe, so you do not miss the next word heaven releases over your life. Because chosen ones walk together, and your light grows stronger in unity. And at this sacred moment, type this number in the comments as a prophetic act, 777. It is the number of divine completion and heavenly perfection. By declaring it, you are saying, "I receive the sign. I accept my calling. I step into my destiny. This is your confirmation. This is your awakening. This is your time. Chosen one." The sign you witnessed was not random. It was never the flicker of chance, never the empty play of coincidence. It was precise. It was intentional. It was crafted for your eyes only, planted in the fabric of your day so that you could not escape it. God speaks in ways that bypass the noise of the world, and sometimes His voice comes as a strange interruption, something that unsettles you, something you cannot explain away. That was the purpose of what you saw, to awaken your spirit and demand your attention. Others might dismiss it. They might shrug, laugh, or forget, because they are blind to the language of heaven. But you, chosen one, you could not brush it off. You felt its weight in your chest. You carried its echo in your mind. And even now, it lingers. That is how you know it was real. It was not a fleeting image. It was a divine imprint. Understand this. God is too intentional to waste signs on those who will ignore them. He sends signals to the ones who are sensitive, the ones whose hearts are soft enough to listen. You are one of those. That is why you noticed. That is why you could not look away. Heaven knew you were ready. So heaven sent you a mark. Think of how many times you have felt these unexplainable nudges before. A sentence someone said at just the right moment. A dream that carried more meaning than sleep. A pattern of numbers that seemed too exact to be chance. These moments stitched themselves into your memory because they were not ordinary. They were breadcrumbs leading you here. And now, this latest sign is louder, clearer, heavier. It is no longer whispering, it is declaring. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 2, Verse 14. The person without the Spirit does not accept the things that come from the Spirit of God, but considers them foolishness and cannot understand them, because they are discerned only. You discerned it because your spirit is alive. This is the difference between you and the crowd, where they see nothing. You see the fingerprints of God. Beloved, do not despise your sensitivity. The world has tried to convince you that you are too much, too emotional, too unusual. But heaven calls it a gift. Only those with open hearts can recognize a holy sign. Only those with eyes tuned to eternity can see through the veil of the ordinary. That gift is what marks you as chosen. Remember how your body reacted in that moment. A sudden stillness, a breath caught, a chill down your spine, or even a sense of peace that wrapped around you. That physical echo was not your imagination, it was your spirit's recognition. The eternal brushed against the temporal, and your very being responded. This was not a trick of the mind. It was heaven entering your space. Ask yourself, why you? Why did God send this sign to you instead of someone else standing near? The answer is simple: because you are listening. Many are too distracted to notice. Many are too hardened to care. But you are awake, and God knows it. That is why He entrusted this moment to you. Do not let the enemy convince you otherwise. He will whisper that it was coincidence. He will mock you with doubt. But listen, if it were meaningless, why does it linger so heavily? Why can't you forget it? Why did it stop you in your tracks? Coincidence fades quickly, but divine encounters leave scars on the soul. Chosen one. Understand the progression. Signs are not destinations. They are doors. They open the way to something greater. The sign you saw is not the final message. It is the beginning. It was heaven knocking at your soul's door, saying, something is coming. Prepare yourself. Signs point forward. And this one points to a season about to unfold. You must also realize that signs rarely come alone. This was the first, but not the last. More confirmations will follow in dreams, in conversations, in scripture, in soon inner clarity. Pay attention. What you saw was the trumpet blast, but the echoes are on their way. If you remain alert, you will see the pattern, and the pattern will guide you. Others may never understand. They may look at you with confusion or dismiss you as imagining things, but revelation is not for everyone. It is reserved for the chosen. The mystery of the kingdom is not scattered to the careless. It is entrusted to those who are awake. That is why you see while others are blind. At times, signs come as warnings, urging you to turn back from danger. Other times, they come as encouragement, reminding you to keep pressing forward. And sometimes, as now, they come as revelation, proof that you are no longer hidden, proof that you are stepping into alignment with what has been waiting for you. This was not to scare you. It was to reveal you. Even creation itself testifies. The whisper of the wind, the shift of the clouds, the song of a bird, the crack of thunder, all these can be vessels for divine communication. The same God who commands galaxies can bend a moment in your life to carry His message. Do you see how personal that is? The Creator of the universe paused eternity just to speak to you. That is the weight of being chosen. Reflect now on your past. Look at the times you were spared. The times doors shut painfully, but saved you from disaster. the times you were delayed only to be protected. In those moments, you thought life was random. Now you begin to see the thread. They were all signs, preparing the way. What you saw recently was not isolated. It was the continuation of a divine pattern, stitched carefully into your story. And so, beloved, do not take it lightly. Protect this memory. Hold this sign in your heart. Write it down. Recall it often. Because it is not just an image, it is an anchor. The enemy would love to snatch it from your memory, to drown it in doubt, to bury it in distraction. But you must guard it, for it is sacred. Know this: God will not reveal without reason. If He placed the sign before you, He also intends to guide you into its meaning. He does not awaken without equipping. He does not call without preparing. The one who began this stirring will carry it forward. Your only responsibility is to remain attentive, obedient, and faithful. Do not be afraid of what is coming. The sign was not a warning of doom, it was an announcement of purpose. It was heaven saying, "You are not hidden anymore. You are not forgotten. You are stepping into the next chapter. Chosen one. Lift your head." The sign was not the end. It was the beginning of a greater unveiling. And you, sensitive enough to notice, faithful enough to receive, will walk into it fully. Chosen one. When the silence around you suddenly carried a voice that no one else could hear, you knew it was not imagination. You knew it was not simply your own mind speaking. There was a whisper, faint yet undeniable, weaving itself into the stillness. This was God, not shouting, not thundering, but speaking softly into the depths of your heart. And the fact that you could hear Him at all is proof of how near He is to you. You see, heaven does not always announce itself with lightning and fire. Sometimes the most powerful message arrives in silence, where only the listening soul can perceive it. That is why the strange sign you witnessed carried more than visual meaning. It was accompanied by a voice inside. The kind of voice that speaks without words, yet fills you with certainty. That was God's way of reminding you, "I see you. I have not left you. I am closer than your breath." The prophet Elijah once stood on a mountain, waiting for God to reveal Himself. There was a violent wind, but the Lord was not in the wind. There was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. There was fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. Then came a gentle whisper, and Elijah knew. That whisper carried more weight than all the other displays of power. In the same way, your whisper moment was God choosing intimacy over spectacle. This is how He marks His chosen. The world clamors for noise, for proof, for signs that dazzle the senses. But you, beloved, have been trained to hear what others miss. The voice in the silence was not given to everyone. It was given to you because you would treasure it. You are not careless with what is holy. You are not reckless with what is sacred. You have ears that truly hear. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 10, verse 17, still echo today. Faith comes from hearing the message, and the message is heard through the word about Christ. Your faith was stirred not because of what your eyes saw, but because of what your spirit heard. That is how faith grows, not through noise, but through revelation whispered directly into your soul. Now, pause and reflect. How many times have you dismissed that inner voice, thinking it was only your own thought? Yet every time, It guided you. It warned you when danger approached. It comforted you when despair grew heavy. It gave you strength when you felt you had nothing left. And now, through the strange sign you saw, that same voice is reminding you that you are not alone and never have been. Beloved, when God speaks in whispers, it is because He wants closeness. Loud voices can be heard from a distance, but whispers require intimacy. Head draws near, bends low, and speaks directly into the heart of His chosen ones. That is the level of love you carry. Heaven does not keep you at arm's length. It leans in to reach you. Do not underestimate the weight of what you heard. The whisper may have seemed small, but it carried eternity in it. It was not just a sound, it was a seal. It was God stamping His mark on your life once again, assuring you that what is coming has His full backing. That whisper was not just encouragement, it was activation. You may wonder, why would God speak so softly when the world around me is so loud? Because He is not competing with the world. His voice does not need to shout over chaos. Instead, His whisper cuts through noise, carrying authority that no distraction can drown out. The fact that you noticed it proves your ears are tuned to the frequency of heaven. Chosen one. What you heard was not for everyone else. It was for you. Not because you are better than others, but because your mission requires deeper awareness. The calling on your life is weighty, and with great weight comes great intimacy with the one who called you. That whisper is part of your training. It teaches you to recognize Him in every circumstance, even when everything else seems unclear. When you heard that voice, even if it lasted only for a moment, your soul recognized its source. The echo inside you could not be silenced, because it was not an ordinary thought. It was a heavenly download, inserted into your spirit so you could not deny it. And now it stands as a witness inside you. You are chosen, and God Himself has spoken to you. Beloved, you must hold this whisper as sacred. Write it down. Revisit it often. Speak it aloud when doubt comes. For the enemy will try to convince you it was nothing. But the Spirit within you knows better. You did not imagine it. You encountered it. The difference between imagination and revelation is the residue left behind. And the residue you feel right now, the sense of holiness wrapped around that moment, is evidence it was real. Do not forget, the same God who whispered to Elijah, the same God who called Moses from a burning bush, the same God who spoke Samuel's name in the night, is the same God who just whispered to you. That is the magnitude of what has happened. You are walking in the same stream of divine communication that has marked prophets, apostles, and warriors of faith throughout history. That is what it means to be chosen. And now I must pause to tell you something very important. If this whisper resonates with your heart, I invite you to anchor it by typing these words in the comments. I hear you. Do not dismiss this as a small act. When you write it, you are aligning your spirit with the voice you heard. You are declaring before heaven and before the enemy that you recognize the source, that you are listening, and that you will obey. This small phrase carries great power because it transforms a private encounter into a public declaration of faith. Beloved, do not be afraid of the silence. In the silence, God speaks clearest. In the stillness, His whispers reach deepest, and in those whispers, destinies are shifted, chains are broken, and chosen ones are called forth. That is what happened to you. The voice you heard in the silence was not just a passing thought. It was eternity brushing against your spirit, shaping your future with one gentle word: chosen one. Look carefully at the road you have walked so far. Every wound, every unanswered question, every sleepless night was not meant to crush you, but to shape you. Your battles have never been accidents. They were not punishments. Though they felt heavy, they were training grounds, sharpening your spirit, testing your endurance, and preparing you for a destiny too large to be carried by untested hands. The strange sign you saw was not a random spark. It was heaven revealing the purpose behind the fire you have endured. From your earliest days, struggle has been your shadow. While others seemed to move easily, you felt resistance at every step. The doors that opened wide for them remained locked for you. Opportunities slipped away. Relationships fractured. And you often questioned whether you were cursed. But you were not cursed. You were being refined. The fire that surrounded you was not meant to destroy you, but to forge strength inside of you. Like gold that must be purified by flame, your soul was refined by trial. Think of the times when despair nearly swallowed you whole, and yet you rose again. Think of the nights when fear pressed on your chest, but the morning still found you alive. Each of those moments was evidence that you are stronger than what tried to break you. More importantly, they were proof that heaven was guarding you, even in the shadows. Your battles became the evidence of your protection. It is written in the first letter of Peter, chapter 1, verse 7. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold, though your faith is far more precious than mere gold. So when your faith remains strong through many trials, it will bring you much praise and glory and honor on the day when Jesus Christ is revealed to the whole world. Your hardships were not meaningless. They were the very proof that your faith is alive. Beloved, the enemy does not waste energy on those who pose no threat. Darkness has always recognized your potential, which is why your battles have been relentless. The weight you carried was proportionate to the light you carry inside. Others may not understand this, because their path has been easier, but chosen ones are tested harder because they are destined for more. Every storm you have walked through has been evidence that you carry an anointing too dangerous for darkness to ignore. Pause for a moment. Reflect on the recurring themes of your battles. Were they not always aimed at the deepest parts of your identity, your worth, your voice, your hope, your relationships? These are the very things the enemy targeted, because they are also the very things God intends to use. The opposition has always been aimed at your assignment. Your pain has always pointed to your purpose. And now, the strange sign you saw is heaven's way of saying the training season is not wasted. What you endured is about to be used. The struggles you thought disqualified you were, in fact, the qualifications. Who better to carry light to the broken than someone who knows the feel of darkness firsthand? Who better to release healing than someone who has been wounded and survived? Your scars are not your shame, they are your credentials. You have carried questions like stones in your chest. Why me? Why this path? Why so heavy? The answer lies in your chosenness. Ordinary lives do not require extraordinary shaping, but chosen lives demand it. The weight you bore was proof of heaven's investment in you. God allowed fire not to abandon you, but to reveal you. Each battle has carved depth into your spirit, and now that depth will become the channel for His glory. Beloved, do not despise your story. Do not curse your past. Every rejection, every betrayal, every closed door has a place in the masterpiece being revealed. You are not behind schedule. You are not damaged goods. You are the clay that has been on the potter's wheel, and now the shape is emerging. That sign you saw was not only confirmation of your chosenness, but also validation of your journey. Nothing has been wasted. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison. For years, it seemed as though his life was cursed. Yet every step of suffering positioned him closer to the palace. His pain became the very pathway to his purpose. In the same way, your hardships are not detours, they are highways. You may not see the palace yet, but the sign you witnessed was heaven's assurance that your steps are aligned, even when they felt broken. The truth is this: chosen ones are forged in fire. There is no other way. Ease produces complacency, but struggle produces strength. And you, beloved, have been strengthened beyond what even you realize. The very fact that you are still here, breathing, listening, proves the resilience of your spirit. Many would not have survived what you endured, but you did. And not only did you survive, you are being prepared to thrive. There is a strange beauty in battle scars. They remind you where you have been, but they also testify to your endurance. You are not defined by the wounds, but by the healing that followed. You are not defined by the chains, but by the freedom you found after breaking them. The sign you saw was a reminder that heaven has always been with you in the fire, and now the fire is revealing its purpose. Chosen one, let the weight of this truth settle in your heart. Your battles confirm your calling. You were not overlooked in the struggle. You were not abandoned in the darkness. You were being shaped, prepared, and equipped. And the time is near when you will see why. The strange sign you encountered is not an isolated event. It is heaven declaring that your training is complete and your assignment is beginning. Hold this truth firmly. Nothing you endured was wasted. Every tear was collected. Every cry was heard. Every wound has been healed into wisdom, and every battle has prepared you for what lies ahead. The enemy tried to use your pain to break you, but God has transformed it into the very strength that will carry you into victory. Lift your head. Beloved, you are not defined by the weight of your past. You are defined by the destiny of your future. The fire that nearly consumed you has instead refined you. And now, with scars turned to strength, you are ready to step into the fullness of what was always waiting for you. Chosen one, there has always been a mark upon you. Even from your earliest days, you have carried something different, though you could not always explain it. That sense of being out of step with the world, of walking a road others could not see, that has been the proof of your chosenness. The sign you recently saw was only the latest reminder. Heaven keeps revealing the same truth. You were never designed to blend in. You are not ordinary, and you never will be. From childhood, you felt it. While others laughed easily, you often asked deeper questions. While they sought belonging, you wrestled with meaning. You noticed what they missed. You carried burdens they could not see, and at times, that difference felt like loneliness. You asked yourself, why can't I just be like everyone else? Why do I always feel apart? The answer, though painful then, is glorious now, because you are chosen. Chosen ones are marked by difference. The light inside them cannot be hidden. Even when they try, you could step into a crowd, Say nothing. And yet people would sense something about you. That is not by accident. It is the signature of God written across your spirit. Darkness has always recognized you. That is why you have drawn resistance without cause. People have misunderstood you, envied you, rejected you, not because of who you are on the outside, but because of the unseen anointing that rests upon you. Beloved, do not resent your difference. Do not despise the mark upon you. What feels like isolation is actually consecration. God set you apart for Himself. And the sign you saw was a reminder that this separation is holy. You are not excluded, you are reserved. Heaven has carved space for you that no one else can fill. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 21, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. You may have tried to plan a normal life, to walk the paths everyone else seemed to take, but your steps were rerouted, your plans overturned, because your difference could not be erased. God's purpose over your life has always been stronger than your attempts to be ordinary. Think of the times you tried to silence your inner voice. You told yourself to stop overthinking, to stop feeling so deeply, to just go along with the flow. And yet, the voice grew louder. Your spirit refused to be muted. That was heaven's design. You cannot bury what was breathed into you before you were born. The more you tried to fit in, the more the world showed you that you did not belong. That rejection was not cruelty, it was protection. Every no was God saving you from a life too small for who you are. Chosen one. Your difference is your destiny. The sign you saw was not random, it was a divine interruption to remind you that your uniqueness is intentional. It was heaven whispering, stop running from what makes you stand out. Embrace it. Your light was never meant to be hidden under anyone else's approval. At times, this calling has been heavy. Being misunderstood has cut you deeply. People have labeled you, judged you, even distanced themselves from you because they could not interpret your spirit. But remember, not everyone is meant to understand. Revelation is selective. Those who are blind cannot see what is obvious to you. Those who are deaf cannot hear the whispers that awaken you. And that is exactly why God chose you. You are tuned to His frequency. Beloved, the world may call you strange, but heaven calls you marked. The world may call you too much, but heaven calls you enough. You were never designed for crowds. You were crafted for destiny. That sign was the latest stamp of confirmation. You are walking a sacred path that few will understand, but many will one day witness. And I must tell you this sincerely. If these words are stirring something deep inside you, hold on to them. Let them remind you that you are not alone. There is a family of chosen ones rising across the world, each carrying their own mark of difference. And when you connect with others who carry the same fire, your light grows stronger. This is why I encourage you, gently but with truth, to like this message. Share it so others can find their confirmation. And subscribe so you will not miss the next word that heaven releases for you. Not because of numbers, not because of routine, but because staying connected to this stream of truth strengthens the fire inside you. Think of it this way: when iron sharpens iron, sparks fly. Every time you return to hear the next revelation, your spirit sharpens. Every time you share, another chosen one finds strength. Every time you stay connected, you resist the enemy's attempt to isolate you. That is why I say it not as a demand, but as a reminder of the power of unity among the marked ones. Beloved, you do not have to strive to be different. You already are. The Spirit of God placed eternity inside you, and that mark cannot be erased. The strange sign you saw was heaven confirming what you have always suspected. You were born for more. You are not here by chance, and you are not walking in vain. You are chosen, and the mark upon you is evidence of it. Do not shrink back anymore. Stop apologizing for your light. Stop hiding your fire. The world needs what you carry, and heaven is determined to release it through you. That is why the sign appeared. It was not a suggestion, but a summons. God is calling you to step boldly into the difference you once despised, to embrace it as the crown it has always been. The time is near when others will see what heaven has always known. But for now, let this truth sink into your heart. Your difference is not your weakness. It is your weapon, and the mark upon you is not a burden. It is a blessing. Chosen one. Lift your eyes. The world may never fully understand you, but you were never created for their understanding. You were created for His glory, and the sign you saw was heaven's way of saying, I have marked you. I have chosen you, and I will never let you blend into what you were born to transform. Chosen one. Pause for a moment, and remember the exact instant the sign appeared before you. The interruption was not ordinary, it was prophetic. You were going about your day, thinking it was just another hour, and suddenly the rhythm of time bent in your direction. That disruption was God speaking. He did not send thunder. He did not split the sky. He sent a moment tailored specifically for your spirit to catch. This was not coincidence. This was a holy interruption designed to shake you awake. Heaven often moves in ways that appear strange to human eyes. Prophetic interruptions are rarely grand spectacles for crowds to see. Instead, they are crafted whispers wrapped in mystery, targeted precisely to the chosen. This is why others around you may not have noticed anything unusual. They saw the same world you saw, yet only you felt the tremor inside your soul. That is the mark of a chosen one. You carry sensitivity to the movements of eternity. Beloved, prophetic interruptions have always marked turning points in the lives of God's people. Moses was interrupted by a burning bush that refused to consume itself. Samuel was interrupted in his sleep by a voice calling his name. Mary was interrupted by an angel who shattered her ordinary plans. Saul was interrupted on the road to Damascus by a blinding light that redefined his future. And now you, too, have been interrupted. What you experienced was not small, it was a sign that your destiny is shifting. The prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. That same question now echoes in your life. The interruption you saw was heaven asking, will you continue drifting? Or will you rise into alignment with your calling? Do not underestimate the weight of what happened. The sign was not only meant to comfort you, it was meant to confront you. Heaven is pressing on you with urgency, saying, you cannot delay anymore. Your assignment cannot stay dormant. Prophetic interruptions are not casual suggestions. They are alarms ringing in your spirit. They are declarations that time is moving forward, whether you are ready or not. Chosen one. Every time you have tried to hide, heaven has found you. Every time you attempted to bury your calling under distraction or doubt, prophetic interruptions surfaced to remind you. You are not allowed to fade into the background. You were not designed to vanish. You were designed to stand. That strange sign was God pulling you back into focus, saying, "You cannot blend in when I have marked you to shine." Notice this truth. Interruptions feel inconvenient in the moment, but later they are revealed as mercy. God interrupts not to frustrate, but to protect. He knows what lies ahead, and his disruption saves you from walking blindly into destruction. That sign may have seemed like a small delay, but it may have saved your destiny from derailment. Heaven always moves with precision. Beloved, ask yourself honestly, what were you about to settle for? What compromise were you considering? What path of distraction had begun to creep into your heart? The interruption was God's way of pulling you back before it was too late. He refused to let you trade your crown for comfort. He refused to let you sell your inheritance for temporary relief. The sign came because your destiny is too valuable to risk. Prophetic interruptions do not arrive when life is calm. They arrive when you are at the threshold of change. You felt it, didn't you? That sense of being on the edge of something bigger, even if you could not name it. That heaviness pressing on your chest, that stirring that made you restless. Heaven chose this exact moment to break in, because you are standing at a crossroads. You cannot go back to sleep now. The alarm has already sounded. Do not ignore it. Beloved, for chosen ones, silence can be dangerous. Ignoring an interruption is like closing your eyes on a battlefield. It leaves you vulnerable. God loves you too much to let you drift in blindness. So he pierced your day with a sign. And now the responsibility is on you. Will you respond? Will you lean in? Will you listen? What you saw was not meant to be explained away. It was meant to be carried forward. Prophetic interruptions always lead to prophetic instructions. If God shook you awake, he will also guide your next step. This is the rhythm of the chosen. Interruption, revelation, obedience, transformation. You are in the first stage now, and more is coming. Beloved, your heart knows this truth already. That moment lingers inside you like fire that refuses to go out. That is why you are here, still listening. The interruption has already succeeded. It caught you. And now, heaven is pressing the question, what will you do with what you saw? The sign was not given to make you afraid, but to make you aware. It was a reminder that you are not ordinary, and your life cannot be lived casually. Every choice matters more for you because you are marked. Every step carries weight because your footsteps echo beyond this earth. That interruption was heaven's way of saying, chosen one, it is time to rise. You may feel unworthy. You may question whether you have the strength. But remember, interruptions are not about your strength. They are about God's sovereignty. He does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. The fact that he interrupted you is proof that he trusts you to carry what comes next. So hold this truth firmly in your heart. You are being summoned, not sidelined. You are being awakened, not abandoned. The strange sign you saw was heaven pulling you out of delay and setting you back onto destiny's track. And right here, beloved, I invite you to do something prophetic. As a sign of agreement with what heaven is awakening inside of you, type this number in the comments, 4444. This is not superstition, it is symbolism. 4 represents stability, foundation, and divine order. By declaring it, You are saying, I will not waver. I choose the solid ground of my calling. I step into divine alignment. Let your fingers become the act of faith that your heart already knows is true. Chosen one. Interruptions are holy. Do not fear them. Do not resist them. And above all, do not ignore them. They are the evidence that heaven still has its eye on you. And the sign you witnessed is proof that your life is not drifting aimlessly. It is being guided by the unseen hand of God, who interrupts only to redirect and who disrupts only to deliver. Chosen one. There is something stirring inside you that refuses to let you rest in ordinary comfort. That pull, that ache, that unshakable restlessness, it is not anxiety, and it is not random. It is divine assignment pressing against your soul, reminding you that you were created for more than routine survival. The strange sign you saw was not just an event outside of you. It was a mirror reflecting what is happening inside of you. Heaven is calling, and your spirit cannot stay silent. You have tried before to silence this inner pull. You told yourself that you could be content with less, that you could settle into the background and live unnoticed. But every time you tried, something within you grew louder. That hunger for meaning, that desire for truth, that fire to make a difference, it always returned, stronger than before. This is the mark of a chosen one. You cannot escape your calling, because it was written into you before time began. Beloved, the unshakable pull you feel is not a burden, it is evidence. It proves that you are tethered to heaven's plan. It proves that your existence is not accidental. It proves that even in your wandering, God has been guiding. Others may find peace in temporary pleasures, but you cannot. Others may numb themselves with distractions, but you find no rest there. Why? Because you were designed for a mission bigger than yourself. The Apostle Paul wrote of this tension in the book of Philippians, chapter 3, verse 14. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. That is the language of the unshakable pull, pressing, reaching, straining toward something you cannot yet see but cannot deny. It is not ambition in the worldly sense. It is hunger for alignment with destiny. Think back on your life. Remember the times when you almost gave in to despair, when the darkness pressed so hard that giving up seemed easier. Yet in those very moments, a small spark refused to die, a whisper of hope, a flicker of strength, a reminder that your story was not finished. That was the unshakable pull at work. It would not allow you to quit. It would not release you to destruction. That pull was heaven holding you steady when everything else shook. This is why the sign you saw carried so much weight. It was not a random interruption, it was confirmation. The unshakable pull inside you met the undeniable sign outside you, and together they formed a message that cannot be ignored. Heaven has been speaking within you for years, and now it has spoken around you. So there can be no doubt. Beloved, this pull is not always comfortable. In fact, it often feels like restlessness, like dissatisfaction, like longing that nothing in this world can satisfy. You may have looked at others and envied their ability to live casually, to pursue pleasure without conscience, to chase dreams without depth. But what you envy in them is emptiness. Do not mistake numbness for peace. What you carry, the ache of assignment, is far more valuable than fleeting happiness. It is the evidence that your life carries eternal weight. At times, the unshakable pull feels like a burden. you cannot explain to anyone. Friends might not understand. Family may think you are too intense. Even those close to you may dismiss your hunger as overthinking, but they do not feel what you feel. They are not carrying what you carry. Do not be discouraged. If others cannot comprehend your fire, it was not planted in them. It was planted in you, chosen one. This fire is not meant to torment you. It is meant to propel you. It keeps you awake when the world sleeps. It makes you question when the world accepts. It stirs you to rise when the world settles down. This is not restlessness, it is readiness. Heaven is keeping you alert because your time is near. The sign you witnessed confirmed what you already knew. You cannot stay where you are. The pull inside you is too strong, and the hand of God is too near. You are being summoned forward, and the strange sign was heaven's way of declaring, your waiting season is closing. The time to move has come. Beloved, understand this. You do not carry this pull because you are broken. You carry it because you are chosen. Brokenness aches without purpose, but chosenness aches toward purpose. The longing you feel is not the ache of emptiness, but the ache of birthing. Something is about to emerge from your life, and the pull is the evidence of its nearness. Imagine a compass. No matter how it is turned, the needle pulls toward north. That is what your spirit is like. No matter how you are twisted by circumstances, the needle of your soul always pulls toward your calling. You may try to walk in another direction, but the pull will not let you. You may attempt to silence it, but it will always re-emerge. You are being guided by an inner compass that cannot be broken, because it was crafted by the hand of God Himself. Chosen one. Do not fear the intensity of this pull. Lean into it. Trust it. Recognize that it is not a curse, but a compass. It is leading you exactly where you need to be. The sign you saw was the external confirmation of the internal pull. Heaven is aligning the outside with the inside, so you can no longer doubt. You may feel the tension rising stronger now, almost unbearable at times. That is because you are closer than ever before. The pull intensifies as you near the breakthrough. Just as contractions intensify before birth, do not mistake the pain for punishment. It is the pressure of destiny pressing to be released. You are on the edge of emergence. Beloved, the unshakable pull inside you is proof of two things: that you are chosen and that your season of manifestation is near. Do not despise it. Do not ignore it. And above all, do not try to bury it. Feed it with prayer. Sharpen it with awareness. And honor it with obedience. It is not here to torment you. It is here to guide you into your next. Lift your head. Chosen one. The pull you feel is not madness, not emptiness, not weakness. It is heaven's tether on your soul, drawing you forward with relentless love. You are being prepared, aligned, and positioned. The strange sign you saw was heaven's announcement that the unshakable pull you carry is about to deliver you into the very destiny it has been pointing to all along. Chosen one. You have carried the sting of rejection more times than you can count. You have felt the sharp edge of being misunderstood, of being overlooked, of being pushed aside when you only wanted to belong. At times, rejection has been your constant companion, doors shutting when you knocked, hearts closing when you opened yours, opportunities slipping through your fingers when you thought they were secure. And yet, this very rejection is one of the strongest proofs of your chosenness. You see, heaven's chosen, are rarely embraced by the world. From the beginning, those marked by God have walked roads lined with misunderstanding. Joseph was rejected by his own brothers, accused falsely, and forgotten in prison before he rose to his destiny. David was overlooked by his father and despised by his brothers before he was anointed king. Jesus himself was despised and rejected, a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. If they were rejected, should you be surprised that you, too, have faced the same? Beloved, rejection is not evidence of your worthlessness. It is evidence of your difference. You were never designed to fit into systems built on compromise. You were not crafted to be comfortable in environments that resist truth. When people push you away, when opportunities collapse, it is not always because of failure. It is often because of protection. Heaven allows rejection to redirect the chosen away from counterfeits and toward what is real. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 3. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem. These words remind you that even the Son of God bore the weight of rejection, not because he lacked value, but because he carried too much truth for the world to receive. You are walking in that same pattern. Think back. Chosen one. How many times have you asked yourself, what is wrong with me? Why don't they accept me? Why do I always feel left out? The answer is this: nothing is wrong with you. In fact, everything is right with you. What they rejected was not you, but the anointing upon you. Darkness trembles when light walks into the room. People who are bound often resist those who carry freedom. The rejection you faced was never about your lack, it was about your presence. Beloved, rejection does not disqualify you, it identifies you. It sets you apart, reminding you that you were never meant to blend into the crowd. The pain of rejection is real, but the purpose within it is greater. Every no you heard was positioning you for the yes that matters most. Every closed door was making room for the right one to open, and every person who walked away was leaving space for those who are truly aligned with your destiny. There were times rejection nearly broke you. You questioned your worth. You felt invisible. You wondered if even God had turned away. But now, the strange sign you saw is proof that heaven never abandoned you. It was heaven's whisper saying, the rejection you endured was part of your selection. You were being hidden, not forgotten. You were being preserved, not discarded. Understand this: chosen ones are often hidden until the appointed time. Rejection is part of that hiding. The world may not recognize you now, but that does not mean you are unseen. You are hidden like a seed underground, out of sight, but full of life, waiting for the right season to break forth. The rejection you endured was the soil covering you, keeping you safe until it was time to rise. Beloved, when you remember the sting of being overlooked, do not let bitterness grow. Instead, let gratitude rise. For each rejection saved you from walking roads that would have led you away from your true calling. It hurt. Yes. It cut deeply. Yes. But it also preserved you. God knew what you could not see. And now, the sign you experienced confirms that your rejection was never abandonment. It was direction. Consider this: if every door had opened easily, if every person had embraced you, if every opportunity had fallen into place, You might have grown too comfortable where you did not belong. You might have settled for less than your calling. But rejection kept you moving, searching, stretching toward what was truly yours. What felt like loss was actually guidance. Chosen one. Do not despise the lonely seasons. Do not curse the times when you were excluded. Those were the moments heaven was shaping your resilience. Those were the times when your roots were going deep. You learned strength in solitude. You learned to hear God's voice without the noise of crowds. You learned to find worth in His approval rather than man's applause. These lessons are treasures no rejection can take from you. The sign you saw was heaven saying, "The season of rejection is closing. What once pushed you away will no longer define you. The mark upon you that once drew resistance will now draw recognition. The same difference that made others uncomfortable will one day make them marvel. You are shifting from being misunderstood to being revealed. Beloved, hear this clearly. Your rejection is not your end, it is your beginning. The very people who overlooked you will witness your rising. The same doors that shut will lead you to better ones opening. And the same pain that made you question your worth will become the platform for your testimony. You are chosen, and rejection is part of the evidence. Do not wear it as shame, wear it as a badge of honor. The world may not embrace you, but heaven has already sealed you. The sign you witnessed was not only God's voice calling you forward, it was His comfort, reminding you that everything you lost was part of His design. So lift your head. Beloved, you are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not worthless. You are chosen. And every rejection you endured was heaven's way of protecting what is sacred inside you until the time of unveiling. Chosen one. Destiny always carries a crossroads. It is never a smooth, endless road stretching without challenge. No, there comes a moment when you are forced to choose, when the path splits, and your decision determines not only your direction, but your destiny. The strange sign you saw was not random. It was heaven marking that you have arrived at such a crossroads. You cannot walk both ways. You cannot remain undecided. This is the moment of choosing. Crossroads moments are uncomfortable. They demand clarity when you would prefer delay. They demand courage when you feel weak. But they also carry the greatest potential for transformation. Every chosen one in Scripture faced their crossroads. Moses had to choose between palace comfort and desert calling. Esther had to decide whether to risk her life before the king or remain silent. Peter had to choose between following the crowd or standing for Christ. And now, you stand where they once stood, with a decision pressing on your soul. The voice of God thundered in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. This day I call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life. So, life. That same echo is resounding in your spirit today. Life or death, obedience or delay, destiny or distraction. The sign you saw was not just comfort, it was confrontation. Beloved, crossroads moments carry weight because they reveal the truth about your heart. Do you want comfort more than calling? Do you want applause more than alignment? Do you want temporary satisfaction more than eternal purpose? You cannot choose both. The sign was heaven's way of asking, which will you choose? Think of how many times you have delayed. You told yourself, later, when I'm stronger, later, when I'm ready, later, when things calm down. but later has always stretched further and further away. Crossroads moments do not allow later. They demand now. This is why the sign you saw was so sharp. It was heaven removing your ability to stay neutral. Beloved, neutrality is dangerous for chosen ones. Ordinary people can wander without direction, but chosen ones cannot. Indecision is itself a decision, and delay is itself a form of disobedience. That is why heaven pressed on you so directly. You are standing at the line where delay ends and decision begins. The crossroads before you is not just about personal comfort, it is about assignment. Entire lives will be touched by whether you step forward or shrink back. Entire generations may be shaped by whether you obey or resist. This is why your spirit feels such pressure. It is not only about you. Destiny is never selfish. The calling on your life is connected to many others, and heaven cannot allow you to remain idle. Beloved, understand this. Crossroads are not punishments. They are invitations. God is not trying to trap you. He is trying to release you. The sign you saw was His way of saying, you are ready. The time is now. Step forward. If you were not prepared, the crossroads would not be here. The very fact that the sign appeared proves you have grown strong enough to decide, do not fear what lies ahead. Yes, the path of obedience looks narrow, lonely, even intimidating, but it is also filled with provision, favor, and divine backing. The path of compromise looks easier, but it always leads to chains. Crossroads moments are about vision, seeing beyond what is easy and into what is eternal. Heaven is urging you to lift your eyes beyond the present and glimpse the future waiting if you choose rightly. Beloved, recall the patterns of your life. Every time you delayed, did the burden not grow heavier? Every time you ignored the inner pull, did the restlessness not intensify? That is because you cannot outrun destiny. Crossroads will always find you. And this time, heaven has amplified the call with a visible sign so that you cannot mistake it. Do not waste this moment. You stand at the threshold of transformation. One step of obedience could unlock doors that have remained closed for years. One decision could release blessings you have long prayed for. One courageous yes could ripple across your future and the lives of many. This is why heaven paused time and sent you that sign. It was heaven saying, the decision is due. Beloved, there is no shame in feeling fear here. Every chosen one trembled at their crossroads. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to obey despite fear. And you, chosen one, carry the courage required. Heaven would not call you to decide if you were incapable. The sign was proof that you are ready. Remember this. The crossroads is not simply about direction, it is about identity. Choosing the path of obedience is choosing who you truly are. Choosing delay is denying what has always been inside you. The sign was heaven's reminder. You were born for more than hesitation. So now, pause and let this moment settle deep in your heart. You have been called. You have been chosen. And now you are being summoned to decide. Do not be paralyzed by the weight of the choice. Be strengthened by the certainty that heaven is with you. And here, as a prophetic act of agreement, I invite you to type these words in the comments. I choose life. Simple, but powerful. Less than 4 words, yet carrying eternal weight. By writing it, you are not just repeating a phrase, you are making a declaration. You are aligning your heart with heaven's invitation. You are saying, I will not drift. I will not delay. I choose the path of destiny. Chosen one. Your crossroads moment has come. The sign you saw was the trumpet. And this decision is your response. Do not waver any longer. Step boldly. Choose wisely. And remember, you are not walking this road alone. Heaven has gone before you, and heaven walks beside you. Chosen one. The moment you saw that strange sign, heaven was not just whispering, it was watching. Do not mistake what you experienced as a solitary event. You were not alone in that instant. The eyes of heaven were upon you. Angels stood as witnesses. The presence of God hovered close. That single sign was not only communication, it was observation. Heaven was watching how you would respond. There is a truth many overlook. Every divine encounter carries a test. Not a test to condemn you, but a test to reveal you. Heaven wanted to see whether you would dismiss the sign as nothing, or whether you would treasure it as sacred. And here you are, still remembering, still listening, still leaning in. That proves you passed the test. You did not brush it aside, you recognized its weight. That alone is evidence that you are set apart. Chosen one. Heaven's watchfulness is not cold surveillance, it is loving attention. God's eyes have never left you. Through every high and low, every silence and storm, you have been seen. The sign you saw was another reminder. Even when the world overlooks you, heaven does not. Your life has never been hidden from his gaze. The very fact that you are breathing now is testimony of his hand sustaining you. The word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 15, "The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their cry, beloved." This means every sigh you released in the night was heard. Every prayer you whispered was collected. Every silent tear carried straight to his throne. The sign you saw was a visual echo of this truth. You are not unseen. Consider this. If heaven watches sparrows fall from the sky, how much more carefully does it watch you, who carry eternal purpose? If creation itself is under his gaze, how much more are you? Chosen before the foundation of the world, the sign was heaven's way of reminding you, you are precious, you are observed, and you are never abandoned. Beloved, heaven's attention means your struggles are never wasted. Every battle you faced, heaven saw. Every time you felt misunderstood, heaven knew. Every secret victory, every hidden act of faith, every small decision to keep going, heaven recorded it. And now, heaven is preparing to reward what has been witnessed in secret. The sign was a signal that the season of hiddenness is giving way to the season of unveiling. Do not be discouraged if others failed to notice your faithfulness. Perhaps they overlooked your sacrifices, dismissed your battles, or minimized your efforts. But heaven noticed. Heaven wrote it down. Heaven was there when no one else was. And heaven has a way of rewarding openly what has been endured silently. Chosen one. This truth must take root in your heart. Heaven's watchful eyes mean that nothing about your journey has been random. Not one pain wasted. Not one tear unseen. Not one prayer ignored. All of it has been collected and carried before the throne of God. The sign you saw was like heaven leaning close to say, I saw it all, and I am with you still. Beloved, when you grasp this truth, confidence rises, fear loses its grip, loneliness shatters. Because how can you be abandoned when heaven itself is watching? How can you be forgotten when angels stand as witnesses to your journey? The strange sign you encountered was not simply for encouragement, it was for assurance. Heaven is with you. Heaven is for you. And heaven is watching over you. And let me pause to speak directly to you with sincerity. If these words are confirming what your spirit already feels, I encourage you to hold tightly to this connection. Like this message, share it with someone who needs reminding that heaven sees them too. And subscribe so you can remain aligned with every word heaven pours through this stream. This is not about numbers. It is about staying connected to the flow of confirmation your spirit needs. When you keep returning, your fire stays strong. And when you share, another chosen one receives the very lifeline you just received. Chosen one. When heaven watches, it also protects. Think of the times you nearly stumbled into danger, but were pulled back. Think of the unseen accidents you narrowly escaped. The closed doors that frustrated you, but later saved you. The people who left suddenly, but spared you from greater harm. Heaven's eyes were guiding, even when you did not realize it. The sign you saw was proof that those same eyes are still upon you, steering your steps towards safety and purpose. Do not despise the waiting. Heaven's timing is precise. Sometimes it feels like God is silent, but silence is not absence. Even in silence, He watches, even when you cannot hear Him. His gaze remains steady. The sign you saw was a crack in the silence, a reminder that though He may not always speak loudly, He is always near. Beloved, heaven's watchfulness is also about accountability. To whom much is given, much is required. You are not called to live carelessly. You are chosen to live consciously, aware that your life is not only for you, but for the countless others connected to your calling. Heaven is watching not to condemn, but to ensure you rise into what you were created to be. Let this truth steady your heart. You are never invisible. You may walk through seasons where no one seems to understand, where no human hand reaches for you. But even then, the gaze of heaven does not waver. The sign was proof that God Himself leans close enough to interrupt your ordinary with His extraordinary. So walk forward with confidence. Lift your head. Know that every step is observed. Every choice is seen. Every act of faith treasured. Heaven is watching, not from a distance, but from within your very story. And the sign you saw was heaven's way of saying, I see you. I have always seen you, and I will not stop watching over you. Chosen one. Do not be deceived by the surface of life. What you see with your natural eyes is not all that exists. The battles you have endured, the confusion you have carried, the sudden resistance you faced, it all points to a deeper truth. There is a war over your soul. You are not simply navigating human challenges, you are standing in the middle of a spiritual battlefield. That strange sign you saw was not only a message of comfort, it was also a revelation of conflict. From the beginning of time, light and darkness have warred over the destiny of humanity, but the fight intensifies for those who are marked. The more purpose you carry, the more pressure you attract. This is why your life has felt unusually hard. This is why obstacles appeared even when you tried to walk in peace. You have been carrying light, and light is always opposed by darkness. Do not mistake the resistance as weakness on your part. The attacks you faced were not because you are powerless, but because you are dangerous to the enemy. Your very presence disrupts his plans. Your prayers shake his grip. Your faith dismantles his lies. This is why darkness has targeted you. it fears what you carry. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 23, verse 4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff. They comfort me. These words are not poetry only, they are survival for the chosen. The valley of shadows has surrounded you, but the presence of God has remained. That is why you are still here. That is why every attack failed. Beloved, you must understand the strategies of the enemy. He comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. He steals your joy, kills your hope, and tries to destroy your sense of worth. He whispers lies in the night, hoping you will believe them. He twists circumstances to make you think God has abandoned you. But every lie he speaks collapses under the truth. You are chosen, and you are never alone. Think of the times when the darkness pressed so heavily that you nearly surrendered. Yet somehow, a flicker of light remained. That flicker was not your strength. It was God's hand refusing to let go of you. The enemy wanted to extinguish you, but heaven refused. The sign you saw was heaven declaring once again, the war is real. But the victory is secure. Chosen one. Battles are not random. Every spiritual attack you endured has been aimed at the very area of your calling. If your voice has been attacked, it is because your words carry power. If your relationships have been broken, it is because your connections are dangerous to darkness. If your peace has been assaulted, it is because your calm is a weapon. The enemy does not waste bullets. He targets what threatens him most. Beloved, though not live unaware, you are not just enduring difficulties, you are contending for destiny. The warfare you face is the evidence of your assignment. The greater the resistance, the greater the responsibility. This is why heaven sent you that sign. It was not only comfort, but clarity. You are in a war, but you are not without weapons. Scripture reminds us that our weapons are not carnal but mighty through God for pulling down strongholds. Prayer is your sword. Worship is your shield. Faith is your anchor. The Word of God is your unbreakable weapon. You have never been left defenseless. You have been equipped, even when you felt weak. Beloved, the enemy hoped your battles would break you, but they have only revealed your strength. Every time you survived an attack, your spirit grew sharper. Every time you overcame despair, your faith grew deeper. Every time you resisted lies, your discernment grew stronger. The war over your soul has not destroyed you, it has defined you. Consider this truth. If the enemy had truly succeeded, you would not be here. If the attacks had truly won, you would not be reading these words. The very fact that you are still standing is proof of your victory. You are not just surviving, you are winning. And the sign you saw was heaven affirming that truth. You are in the fight, but you are not losing. Chosen one. The war is fierce, but so is your covering. God's hand has never lifted from your life. Angels have surrounded you even when you could not see them. The Spirit of God has interceded for you with groanings too deep for words. You have been shielded in battles you did not even know were happening. That is the depth of heaven's love for you. Do not fear the valley. Do not fear the shadows. You are not walking alone. The presence of God is not just beside you, it is within you. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you. That is why you cannot be defeated. That is why the war cannot consume you. The enemy may rage, but heaven reigns. Beloved, Let the sign you saw be your reminder. You are a warrior, not a victim. You are a light bearer, not a casualty. You are chosen, and your soul is under divine protection. The war is real, but so is the victory. The attacks are fierce, but so is your covering. You will not be destroyed. You will not be silenced. You will not be lost. Lift your head. Stand firm. Walk forward with confidence. The valley is not your home. It is your passage. The war is not your end. It is your proving ground. And the sign you saw was heaven's way of declaring, the battle belongs to the Lord. And you are already victorious. Chosen one. Pause and let your heart feel this truth. Heaven has been speaking to you in patterns. It was not only the strange sign you saw, but also the numbers, the repetitions, the alignments that seemed too perfect to be accidents. These are not coincidences. They are coded messages, divine confirmations wrapped in symbols, so that only those with awakened eyes like you can recognize them. Numbers have always been part of heaven's language. From the beginning of Scripture, numbers carried meaning. 7 for completion, 12 for divine government, 40 for testing, 3 for resurrection. Numbers appear again and again, not as decoration, but as declarations. And now, the same God who wrote his truth in Numbers thousands of years ago is speaking to you in the same way today. Beloved, do not dismiss it when you see repetition. The time on the clock, the pattern on a receipt, the digits appearing again and again. These are not random. Heaven is aligning numbers in your path as markers of guidance. They appear because you are attentive. They appear because you are chosen. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. This is why you must not dismiss what you see with fear or confusion. Numbers are not there to frighten you. They are there to remind you of your inheritance. They are not superstition, they are confirmation. Heaven has chosen a language that bypasses distraction and lands directly in your awareness. Chosen one. Numbers are not just mathematics, they are messages. When you see them, it is heaven pressing pause to whisper, pay attention. I am guiding you. I am with you. Think of how many times you noticed a sequence that made your heart stop for a moment. That pause was not your imagination, it was recognition. Your spirit knew what your mind could not yet explain. Beloved, do not underestimate how intentional heaven is. Numbers carry rhythm, and rhythm creates order. Your life may feel chaotic, but the repeated numbers you see are God's way of reminding you that there is divine order in your days. Even when you feel scattered, heaven is writing structure into your story. Every number is a thread, weaving you back into alignment. Perhaps you saw a pattern and dismissed it as random, yet it kept appearing, again and again. It followed you. Why? Because heaven refuses to let you miss the message. The numbers were not chasing you by accident, they were chasing you by design. That persistence is proof that your steps are being orchestrated. Beloved, you may wonder, but why numbers? Why not words? Because numbers cut through the noise. Words can be argued, debated, doubted, but numbers appear with simplicity, with clarity, with repetition that cannot be denied. They bypass logic and land straight in the spirit. That is why heaven chose them. it is harder for you to ignore what keeps repeating, "Chosen one." When you saw the numbers, your spirit stirred. That stirring was heaven's confirmation. The sign you experienced was part of a larger pattern, and the numbers are guiding you deeper into awareness. This is not coincidence, it is continuity. God is saying, "I have been speaking, I am still speaking, and I will continue to speak until you understand." Think of the patience of heaven. How many times has God repeated himself? Not because he was unclear, but because he wanted to make sure you were sure. That is what the numbers mean. They are patience turned into symbols. They are grace turned into guidance. They are mercy turned into mathematics. Beloved, your sensitivity to see them is proof that you are awake. Not everyone notices. Some pass by the same patterns blind, unaware. But you are different. You are marked. You cannot escape the awareness of heaven's signals, because heaven does not waste language on ears that will not listen. The numbers you see are not just confirmation of God's presence, they are invitations into deeper trust. Each time you notice, heaven is asking, "Will you trust me more? Will you believe that I am guiding even the smallest details of your life?" That is the purpose of these signs, to remind you that nothing is random, that everything is aligned, and that you are being carried by a plan far greater than yourself. Chosen one. Lift your eyes. The numbers you see are not accidents. They are heaven's fingerprints across your timeline. They remind you that even when your life felt chaotic, order was being written. Even when you felt lost, guidance was already there. And even now, the repetition is calling you forward into alignment. Now, beloved, I invite you into a prophetic act. Just as heaven has been speaking to you in numbers, respond with a number of your own. Type this number in the comments, 888. This is the number of new beginnings, of resurrection, of stepping into what was once impossible. By writing it, you are declaring, "I receive the new chapter. I align with heaven's order. I embrace what is coming." This act is not about digits, it is about agreement. You are sealing the message. Heaven already spoke through the numbers you saw. Chosen one. Numbers are not small, they are sacred. And the sign you saw was part of the same sacred rhythm. Your life is aligned with patterns written before time began. Trust them, honor them, and let them remind you daily, you are chosen, you are guided, and you are never walking alone. Chosen one. You have carried battles in silence that most people will never understand. You have endured struggles that cut deep, leaving wounds unseen by others. But beneath the surface of those wounds lies a truth the enemy hoped you would never discover. Your greatest gift is hidden in the very place of your greatest attack. The strange sign you saw was not just a reminder of God's presence, it was confirmation that the strength within you is far greater than the opposition against you. From the beginning, your life has carried weight. This is why the resistance has been so fierce. Darkness does not waste energy fighting what poses no threat. It only unleashes its full force against those carrying dangerous potential. You, beloved, have always been one of those. That is why you felt targeted from an early age. That is why storms found you, even when you did nothing wrong. The attacks were never proof of weakness, they were proof of calling. Think of this carefully. Where has the resistance been strongest in your life? Was it against your voice? That is because your words are meant to release freedom. Was it against your confidence? That is because your courage terrifies the enemy. Was it against your relationships? That is because your connections carry kingdom purpose. Was it against your health or mind? That is because your very presence is an atmosphere of light. The war has always been strategic. It attacks where the gift is greatest. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden." The enemy knows this truth. He cannot remove the light inside you, so he tries instead to bury it under fear, doubt, and pain. But no matter how he presses, the light refuses to be extinguished. That is why you are still here. That is why you still burn. Even after all, you endured. Beloved, your hidden strength is not small, it is explosive. It is the reason you survived battles that should have destroyed you. It is why despair could not swallow you whole. It is why every attempt to silence you has failed. The strength inside you is not of your own making, it is the gift of God, planted in you before you ever took your first breath. At times, you doubted this. You looked at your failures, your struggles, your tears, and thought, maybe I am too weak to carry this calling. But weakness was never disqualification. It was the soil where divine strength revealed itself. Every crack in your life became a doorway for God's power to shine through. The enemy thought your pain would bury you. But in truth, it only revealed the unshakable core inside you. Beloved, do you realize the sign you saw was not just encouragement, but revelation? It was God pointing at your very life and saying, "See, the strength within you has not broken. See, what I placed in you remains unshaken. See, you are still standing because I made you to endure." That sign was heaven's confirmation that you carry more than you know. Your hidden strength is often clearest in hindsight. Think of the seasons you thought you would never escape, yet somehow you emerged stronger. Think of the nights you cried until there were no tears left, yet somehow morning came, and so did new strength. Think of the times when the weight was unbearable, yet somehow you lifted it and kept walking. That somehow was not luck. It was the gift of strength hidden within you. Beloved, the enemy hoped you would never notice this. He hoped you would always see yourself as fragile, weak, and unworthy. But heaven is pulling back the veil. The truth is clear. Your strength has been proven in battle. You have endured more than most, and yet your light still burns. That is not fragility, that is resilience. That is not weakness, that is divine might. The strange sign you saw was heaven announcing that your hidden strength is about to be revealed openly. No longer will it remain unseen. No longer will it be buried beneath doubt. It will rise, shining through your words, your presence, your very existence. Those who once underestimated you will witness the strength they never knew was there. And the darkness that once tried to crush, you will tremble at the sight of your endurance. Chosen one, take this truth into your heart. Every attack you endured was a map to your gift. If the battle was against your voice, then your voice is your weapon. If the struggle was against your peace, then your peace is your crown. If the pain was in your heart, then your love is your greatest gift. The enemy does not fight what is useless. He fights what is powerful, and you are powerful. Beloved, hidden strength is not about pretending to be invincible. It is about carrying resilience even in brokenness. It is about standing even when trembling. It is about enduring when everything inside you screams to give up. That is what you have done. That is who you are. And that is why heaven sent you that sign. It was confirmation of your survival, your resilience, and your unstoppable light. So, lift your head. Do not despise the battles that revealed your strength. Do not regret the pain that forged your resilience. Every scar you carry is evidence of survival. Every tear you shed is evidence of endurance. Every step you take is proof that your hidden strength is real. Chosen one. You are not fragile glass. You are unbreakable light. You are not easily extinguished. You are eternally fueled. You are not weak. You are chosen. And the strange sign you saw was heaven's declaration. Your hidden strength is about to change everything. Chosen one. There is something you must face with clarity. Mercy does not stretch forever. Grace is fast. Yes. Patience is long. Yes. But there comes a point when delay turns into disobedience, and hesitation becomes rebellion. The strange sign you saw was not only encouragement, it was also warning. It was heaven leaning close to whisper, "You are running out of chances to ignore your calling." Beloved, this truth is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you. Too many walk through life believing they have endless time. They say, "Tomorrow I will change. Tomorrow I will listen. Tomorrow I will surrender." But tomorrow is not promised. The Spirit of God calls now, not later. Every moment of delay is dangerous, because delay hardens the heart. Mercy is a river, but rivers can shift their course. If you continually refuse, if you continually silence the pull, mercy begins to step back. Not because God desires to abandon, but because your choices close the door. There are sacred warnings written throughout Scripture, warnings that remind us that there is a point where resistance becomes blindness. The sign you saw was heaven shaking you before that point arrives. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. The appointed time is not infinite. The vision has a moment of arrival. And beloved, your appointed time is drawing near." Heaven does not send repeated signs without reason. It is pressing you because the season is urgent. Think of all the times you felt the inner whisper, urging you to act, to step forward, to leave behind what drains your spirit. Each time, you hesitated. Perhaps fear held you back. Perhaps comfort whispered louder than courage. Yet even then, God extended mercy. Even then, He gave another chance. But mercy is not permission to remain still. It is invitation to rise. Beloved, do not mistake God's patience for His approval of delay. His patience is meant to lead you into action, not excuse procrastination. The sign you witnessed was heaven's reminder that the window is narrowing. You cannot postpone forever what was meant for now. You cannot keep delaying the surrender that your spirit already knows is required. There is a phrase written in sacred text that should echo in your spirit. Today, if you hear His voice, do not harden your hearts. Today, not tomorrow, not someday. Today. The reason heaven keeps sending signs is because today matters. Each day you hesitate, your heart risks hardening. Each time you delay, your sensitivity grows duller. The enemy wants you to believe you have endless time, but heaven knows you do not. Beloved, take this seriously. Rebellion does not always look like hatred of God. Sometimes it looks like hesitation. Sometimes it looks like distraction. Sometimes it looks like endless waiting for the perfect moment that never arrives. The sign you saw was God's way of saying, do not play with delay. Obedience must happen now. Think of Saul, who delayed obedience and lost his kingdom. Think of the generation in the wilderness, who resisted too long and never entered the promised land. These are not stories of cruelty, they are warnings of what happens when mercy is rejected. Your calling is too great. Your assignment too weighty for you to risk missing it through delay. Beloved, heaven does not send warnings without love. If God wanted to abandon you, He would not have sent the sign. If He wanted to condemn you, He would not have whispered again and again. The very fact that you are still sensing this urgency means there is still hope. The door has not shut. Mercy is still present, but it is not infinite. This is your moment. Consider this. What has been stealing your obedience? Is it fear of failure? Is it the weight of other people's opinions? Is it the comfort of staying where you are? Whatever it is, the sign was heaven's call to let it go. You cannot afford to keep feeding delay. You cannot afford to keep giving rebellion the disguise of hesitation. Beloved, the path ahead requires courage. Yes, it requires surrender. Yes, but it also carries reward beyond imagination. Every sacrifice you fear making will be met with glory. Every step of obedience will open doors no man can shut. Heaven is not asking you to lose, it is inviting you to gain. The enemy paints obedience as loss, but truth reveals it as liberation. The strange sign you saw was heaven's way of shaking you, awake before it was too late. Do not brush it off. Do not silence it with busyness. Do not hide it beneath excuses. Let it pierce your spirit. Let it move you into action. Beloved, your destiny is too valuable to gamble with delay. You are standing on sacred ground right now. The warnings of heaven are not threats, they are invitations to life. The river of mercy still flows, but you must step in while it runs. Do not wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised. Today is holy. Today is calling. Today is yours. Chosen one. Hear this clearly. You are not being condemned, you are being called. You are not being pushed away, you are being pulled in. The urgency you feel is proof that heaven has not given up on you. But heaven will not wait forever. That is why the sign appeared. That is why the whisper is loud. That is why your spirit is restless. Respond now. Let this truth break through hesitation. Let it move you into the obedience you have delayed. Mercy is calling, but the time is short, and this moment is sacred. Chosen one. Long before your first breath, long before you even opened your eyes to this world, heaven had already written your name. You are not wandering by chance. You are not a mistake of history. Your existence was scripted, sealed, and sanctified before time began. The strange sign you saw was a reminder of this eternal truth. Your calling was recorded before you were born. This is why you have always felt different. Even as a child, there was a sense that your life carried unusual weight. You may not have had words for it then, but your spirit knew. Heaven had written something over you that could not be erased by the noise of the world. You were not waiting to be chosen, you were already chosen. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, In the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 5, "Before I formed you, in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." These words do not belong only to the prophet, they echo into the hearts of all the chosen. They echo into yours. You were known before you were formed. You were set apart before you took shape. Your assignment was sealed before you could speak. Beloved, this truth may feel overwhelming. How could your life have meaning before you even lived it? Yet that is the depth of heaven's design. Your purpose is not reactive, it is intentional. Nothing about you is random. Your gifts, your temperament, even your struggles, they are all part of a pattern written by God's hand. Think of it. Every rejection you endured, every battle you fought, every strange sign you saw, they are threads woven into a tapestry larger than yourself. You may only see the fragments, but heaven sees the whole design, and the design has your name etched upon it. Beloved, when you doubt your worth, remember this truth. You were known before you were visible. You were chosen before you could choose. You were appointed before you could understand. The sign you witnessed was heaven, reminding you that you are not living toward a purpose. You are living from a purpose already written. This is why the battles in your life have been so fierce. The enemy knew your calling before you did. He recognized the mark on you and tried to crush it early. He hoped that through pain, rejection, and confusion, you would forget what heaven had written. But here you are, still listening, still sensitive, still leaning in. That alone proves the script over your life cannot be erased. Beloved, you carry eternity in your veins. You are not simply surviving time, you are fulfilling what was written in eternity. That is why the sign came. Heaven wanted to remind you that your story is not small, not fragile, not accidental. It is divine. But here is the mystery. Heaven's script is not forced, it is offered. Though your calling was written, your agreement is required. This is why the sign appeared. It was not only revelation, it was invitation. Heaven was saying, will you step fully into what has always been yours? Will you embrace the name written before the foundation of the world? Beloved, the time has come for you to stop doubting, to stop hiding, to stop apologizing for your light. Your name is recorded in the book of destiny, and your obedience unlocks the chapters yet to be revealed. The strange sign was heaven declaring that the page is turning. A new section of your story is beginning, one that will reveal more of what has always been inside you. Think of how many times you almost gave up, yet something inside pulled you back. That something was not coincidence, it was your calling, refusing to let go. The script of heaven has always been stronger than the voice of despair. Even when you doubted yourself, the script did not change. Even when you felt unworthy, the script did not erase. Your name remains written. Beloved, let this truth settle deep. You are living proof of God's intention. You are not here to stumble through chance. You are here to fulfill what was written. That knowledge should not crush you. It should lift you. It should remind you that no weapon formed against you can prosper, because heaven's script is unbreakable. And at this moment, with all sincerity, let me speak to you directly. If these words are confirming what your spirit already feels, I encourage you to hold on to this connection, like this message, not out of routine, but as a declaration that you recognize its truth. Share it with someone who has forgotten their worth. Because your obedience may awaken another chosen one. Comment your thoughts, even if just a few words. Because speaking truth seals it in your spirit. And subscribe so that you do not drift away from the steady flow of reminders that heaven keeps sending to strengthen you. This is not about numbers, it is about alignment. Every act of engagement is not just digital, it is spiritual. It is you saying, I know my name is written. I choose to walk in it. I refuse to forget again. Beloved, when heaven wrote your story, it also wrote your victory. That does not mean there will be no battles. It means the battles cannot erase the ending. The strange sign you saw was a reminder of that ending. No matter the detours, no matter the delays, the final word over your life is glory. Your story ends in light, not darkness. It ends in triumph, not defeat. So, walk forward with confidence. Do not fear the unknown, for heaven already wrote it. Do not dread the battles, for heaven already secured your victory. And do not doubt your worth, for heaven already recorded your name. The sign you saw was heaven whispering, you are chosen, you are written, and you are sealed. Lift your head, chosen one. Embrace your identity. Your name is written, and no power on earth or in hell can erase it. Chosen one. Deep within you burns a fire that you did not create. It is not the result of ambition, nor the product of circumstance. It is divine. It was placed there by the Spirit of God before you even understood its purpose. That fire is why you cannot be satisfied with mediocrity. That fire is why you feel restless when you try to live small. And that fire is why the strange sign you saw stirred you so powerfully. It was fuel thrown upon an already burning flame. Beloved, the fire inside you is not ordinary passion. Passion can fade. Passion can shift with seasons. But divine fire endure. It may dim at times under the weight of trials, but it never extinguishes. Even when you tried to smother it with distraction, even when you covered it with fear, even when you buried it under shame, the flame refused to die. That is because it was never yours to control. It is heaven's fire, and heaven does not revoke its gifts. The prophet Jeremiah spoke of this same fire. He tried to stay silent, to ignore his calling, to live as if he were ordinary. But he confessed that God's word was like fire, shut up in his bones, and he could not hold it in. That is the same fire you carry. It compels you even when you resist. It pulls you even when you push away. It demands expression because it was born for release. Beloved, this fire is not a burden, it is your evidence. It proves that you are set apart. Others may walk without inner disturbance, content to live for themselves. But you cannot. The fire will not allow it. It will not let you rest in smallness. It will not let you drown in compromise. It will not let you fade into the background. The fire inside you is heaven's reminder that you were made for more, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 8, verse 12. I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. That light is not only around you, it is within you. It burns as fire in your spirit, a flame the darkness cannot quench. The sign you saw was heaven pointing to that flame, reminding you that what burns inside will one day blaze outside. Consider this truth: the enemy fears your fire more than anything else. That is why he has tried to cover it with lies. drown it with discouragement, and bury it with distractions. But no matter how fierce the attacks, the fire still burns. It flickered. Yes. It dimmed. Yes. But it never went out. That is because heaven itself sustains it. The same breath that created stars sustains the flame inside you. Beloved, you may not feel strong. You may think your fire is too small to matter. But remember this, even the smallest flame can pierce the darkest night. Even the faintest spark can ignite a forest. The fire inside you is not measured by its size, it is measured by its source. And its source is eternal. This fire is not just for you. It was placed in you to ignite others. When you speak, when you act, when you simply walk into a room, people sense something they cannot explain. That is the fire speaking through your presence. It draws those who are searching. It unsettles those who are hiding. It awakens those who are asleep. Your flame is contagious, and that is why it cannot be hidden forever. Beloved, the sign you witnessed was not only heaven reminding you of the fire, it was heaven warning you not to neglect it. Flames require fuel. If you ignore it, if you starve it, if you bury it under endless distractions, it will grow dim. It will not die completely, but it will burn weakly, and a weak flame cannot fulfill the assignment written for you. This is why heaven interrupts you, to remind you to tend the fire, feed it with prayer, strengthen it with truth, guard it with purity, protect it with obedience. The fire grows when you honor it, and when it grows, your destiny unfolds. Do not be careless with it. Do not despise it. Do not compare it to the flames of others. Your fire is unique, and it was crafted for your assignment alone. Chosen one. Remember how the sign you saw pierced through your routine. That was heaven blowing gently on the coals of your spirit. It was God's breath reminding you, the fire is still alive. The flame is still burning. The light inside you has not gone out. Do not ignore this confirmation. It is time to fan into flame the gift that has always been within you. Beloved, there will be seasons when the fire feels like a burden. You will wish for normalcy. You will long for silence. You will envy those who seem to walk without the constant burning. But understand this, their emptiness is not peace. Their silence is not fulfillment. The fire that stirs you is the very proof that your life carries eternal weight. Without it, you would drift. With it, you rise. Do not run from the flame. Embrace it. Carry it. Let it transform you. It will not consume you. It will refine you. It will burn away what is false, leaving only what is eternal. And when the refining feels painful, remember, the pain is not punishment. It is purification. Heaven does not allow fire to destroy the chosen. It allows fire to reveal them. Beloved, you are not fragile glass. You are burning gold. Every trial, every rejection, every strange sign you have seen, they are all fuel to the flame. The fire grows brighter because of what you endured. And soon, the light inside will shine so openly that no one will be able to deny it. Chosen one. Let this truth settle deep. The fire inside you is not temporary. It is eternal. It will carry you through valleys. It will sustain you in storms. It will rise when everything else falls. That fire is your inheritance, your weapon, your crown, and the sign you saw was heaven's reminder to never, ever let it be forgotten. Chosen one, You have wondered many times why the world seems to resist you so fiercely. Why doors that open easily for others slam shut in your face. Why people misinterpret your intentions, even when your heart is pure. Why circles that once welcomed you suddenly grow cold. At times, you felt cursed by this constant resistance. Yet the truth is deeper. The resistance you face is proof of your heavenly rank. Beloved, the world does not resist what poses no threat. The world does not rise against what carries no weight. It only resists what carries light powerful enough to expose its darkness. And that is what you carry. Your very presence is a disruption to what is false. Your existence challenges the status quo of broken systems, shallow desires, and counterfeit peace. That is why the world has pushed back. It senses that you do not belong to it. The ancient words in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 19, still burn with clarity. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world. That is why the world hates you. Beloved, you must let this truth sink deep. You do not belong here in the way others do. Your home is higher. Your allegiance is greater. Your calling is weightier. The resistance you face is not rejection of you as a person, it is rejection of the mark upon you. Chosen one. When you step into a room, you may not notice it, but atmospheres shift. People sense something different. Some are drawn to it. Others are unsettled by it. Both responses reveal the same truth. Your spirit carries authority. This authority cannot be explained in natural terms. But the unseen world recognizes it. Heaven recognizes it. And so does darkness. And that recognition produces resistance. Beloved, the enemy knows your identity even before you fully grasp it. That is why you have been attacked since youth. That is why opportunities vanished before they could bear fruit. That is why relationships fractured under pressure. It was not because you are weak, it was because you are marked. The world's resistance was a reaction to heaven's choice. Understand this: resistance is not always punishment. More often, it is protection. The doors that closed may have been the very doors that would have trapped your fire. The people who rejected you may have been the very ones who would have diluted your calling. The opportunities that slipped away may have been snares wrapped in disguise. Heaven allowed the resistance not to harm you, but to preserve you. Beloved, the resistance you feel is like the wind against an eagle's wings. At first, it seems like opposition, but the eagle knows that the wind pressing against it is the very force that allows it to soar higher. Without resistance, there is no lift. Without pressure, there is no rise. And so it is with you. The very resistance you despised has been the wind lifting you to heights others cannot reach. Think of the times when you questioned your worth because of rejection. Yet what if those very rejections were confirmations? What if every no you heard was actually heaven saying, "You do not belong here. You are made for more"? The resistance is not proof of your failure, it is evidence of your distinction. Beloved, the strange sign you saw was not only heaven's reminder of presence, it was also heaven's interpretation of your pain. It was God saying, "The reason the world resists you is because heaven recognizes you. The reason doors closed is because I am opening higher ones. The reason they misunderstood you is because I designed you to carry revelation they cannot yet comprehend." Chosen one, your rank in the unseen world is higher than you realize. Do not measure yourself by the standards of this earth. Your true stature is not in titles, wealth, or applause. Your true stature is in your spirit. You have been given authority to trample darkness, to carry light, to shift atmospheres. That is why the resistance comes. It is the world's futile attempt to shrink what cannot be contained. Beloved, let the resistance refine you, not define you. Do not let rejection convince you of worthlessness. Do not let closed doors make you bitter. Do not let misunderstanding silence your voice. Instead, let every resistance remind you, you are set apart. You are on assignment. You are ranked by heaven, not by earth. Remember how Jesus himself walked. Crowds followed him, but many also rejected him. Some celebrated his miracles, others plotted his death. His very presence forced people to choose light or darkness, truth or deception, surrender or resistance. And you, walking in his footsteps, will experience the same. The world's resistance is simply the echo of his beloved. Let this truth free you. You do not need universal acceptance to fulfill your calling. You do not need every door to open, every person to understand, every opportunity to remain. What you need is alignment with heaven, and heaven is already aligned with you. That is why the resistance cannot stop you. It can slow you. It can pressure you, but it cannot erase what heaven has declared. The sign you saw was heaven's way of reminding you, do not misinterpret resistance. It is not evidence of abandonment, it is evidence of assignment. The very areas where you face the fiercest pushback are the areas where you will one day walk in the greatest authority. The enemy only fights what he fears, and he fears you. Chosen one. Lift your head. Stop asking, why me? Why so much resistance? The answer is simple, because you are chosen, because you are ranked, because you are dangerous to darkness. Every no you received was not the end, it was redirection. Every closed door was not rejection, it was protection. Every misunderstanding was not failure, it was refinement. Beloved, let the resistance push you higher. Let it sharpen your focus, strengthen your spirit, and solidify your identity. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are ranked by heaven. And that rank will carry you into places where resistance will turn into recognition, where rejection will turn into revelation, and where misunderstanding will turn into manifestation. The strange sign you saw was heaven's stamp. You are resisted because you are ranked. You are opposed because you are chosen. And no amount of resistance can erase the authority already written into your spirit. Chosen one. There comes a moment when the weight of destiny presses so heavily upon your life that you feel as though you are standing on the edge of something vast. The strange sign you saw was not a passing curiosity. It was heaven's declaration that you are standing at the breaking point. The breaking point is not destruction, it is transition. It is the moment when what has been hidden must be revealed, when what has been delayed must be released, and when what has been silent must finally speak. Beloved, you may have felt lately that your heart is stretched thin. The tension has grown stronger, the restlessness louder, the urgency heavier. This is not by accident. It is the pressure of destiny building inside you, pressing against the walls of hesitation and fear. Just as seeds push through the soil when the time for growth has come, you are pressing against the boundaries of your old season. The sign you witnessed was heaven's way of saying, It is time to break through. The breaking point often feels like collapse, but in truth, it is creation. A woman in labor feels pain, not because something is ending, but because something is being born. In the same way, the breaking you feel is not the death of your purpose, it is the birth of it. Heaven has allowed the pressure to rise, not to destroy you, but to deliver you. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 12, verse 24, "Very truly I tell you, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. Beloved, your breaking is the falling of the seed. It may feel like death to old comfort, old dreams, and old ways, but it is also the doorway to multiplication. Your breaking point is not the end of you, it is the beginning of what is greater than you. Chosen one. Do not fear the breaking. Yes, it is painful. Yes, it strips away what once felt safe. Yes, it demande sur rendez, but it also ushers you into fullness. The breaking point separates who you were from who you are becoming. It forces you to release what cannot enter the next season. It cleanses your hands so that you can carry what heaven is about to place into them. Think of the moments in your past where you thought you could not survive. Times when you whispered, "This will break me." Yet here you are, still standing. Those moments did not destroy you, they strengthened you. Each breaking prepared you for the next. And now, this sign confirms that you are standing at the threshold of the greatest breaking, yet the one that will release the fullness of your calling. Beloved, the enemy often tries to confuse this moment. He whispers that breaking means failure, that pressure means abandonment, that pain means punishment. But heaven's truth speaks louder. Breaking is birthing. Pressure is promotion. Pain is preparation. The enemy wants you to retreat, but heaven is urging you to push. Do not mistake what you feel. You are not collapsing, you are crossing over. Chosen one. This is why the strange sign appeared at just this time. Heaven knew you were close to giving up. Heaven knew the weight felt unbearable. And so heaven interrupted your ordinary day to remind you, this is not the end. This is the threshold. The breaking is proof that the birth is near. Beloved, breaking also carries beauty. A seed must break for the tree to rise. The dawn must break for light to shine. Chains must break for freedom to come. In the same way, your breaking point will release what has been locked inside you for years. The tears you shed are watering the soil. The struggles you endured are softening the ground. And soon, what has been hidden will burst forth in life. Do not despise the breaking. Chosen one, embrace it. For within it lies the proof that heaven has not left you in silence. The sign you saw was heaven's reminder that your breaking is holy. It is orchestrated, it is intentional, and it is filled with purpose. Now, beloved, let me invite you into a prophetic act of agreement. Just as heaven has spoken to you through signs and numbers, respond by typing this number in the comments. 555. This is the number of divine grace for change and transition. By writing it, you are declaring, I will not fear the breaking. I embrace the change. I step into the transition with faith. This act is not superstition, it is alignment. It is you saying, yes, Lord, I recognize this breaking point as holy ground. Chosen one, Lift your eyes. The breaking point is not meant to crush you, it is meant to reveal you. It is the threshold where old chains fall away and new doors open. It is the sacred moment where heaven leans close and says, "What I planted in you is ready to rise." So do not retreat. Do not despair. Do not misinterpret what is happening. You are not being destroyed, you are being delivered. The breaking point is the birth of your destiny. And the strange sign you saw was heaven declaring that the time has come. Chosen one. The language of heaven does not stop with signs in the day. It follows you into the night, when your eyes are closed and your body rests. Dreams and visions are not random flickers of imagination. They are channels where eternity speaks into time. Many dismiss them, thinking they are nothing more than the brain processing fragments of memory. But you know better. You have felt the weight of certain dreams, the kind that cling to your spirit long after you wake. They are too vivid to ignore, too sharp to be dismissed. Those dreams are messages. Beloved, the strange sign you saw in your waking hours is part of the same flow that enters your sleeping hours. God does not limit himself to one method of communication. He will speak through what you see in the day and what you encounter in the night. Your sensitivity to these layers of communication is further evidence that you are chosen. Others may wake from dreams and forget them instantly. But you feel the residue. You carry the sense that heaven was trying to tell you something, even if you cannot yet put it into words. Visions come differently. They are not bound to sleep. They arrive when you are still, when your mind drifts into silence, when your spirit suddenly sees beyond the veil of the physical, a flash, an image, a scene that feels more real than imagination. These are visions. They are not accidents, they are invitations. God gives them to awaken, to prepare, to direct. And though they may seem strange at first, they always carry meaning when interpreted in light of his Spirit. The prophet Joel spoke of this in his writings. Chapter 2, verse 28. And afterward, I will pour out my Spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions. This was not poetic exaggeration. It was a declaration of how God would communicate with his people. And you, beloved, are living within that promise. Think of the dreams you've carried that refused to fade. Perhaps they repeated. Perhaps they stirred fear. Or perhaps they ignited hope. Do not dismiss their persistence. Repetition is heaven's emphasis. When God wants you to pay attention, he will allow the dream to echo until you can no longer ignore it. The enemy may try to twist dreams with fear, but even then, the Spirit of God can reveal truth within them, reminding you of victory and protection. Beloved, notice the timing of your dreams and visions. They often arrive when you are on the edge of change, when you are wrestling with decisions, when your spirit needs direction. They are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Just as the strange sign in your day interrupted your normal, so too do dreams and visions interrupt your nights, so that you cannot escape heaven's pursuit. Do not fear if you do not always understand them immediately. Interpretation often comes with time. Joseph, in ancient days, carried dreams for years before their meaning unfolded. Daniel was given visions that required angelic interpretation. Understanding is not always instant, but the weight you feel is proof that the message is real. Beloved, your dreams are not simply for your comfort, they are for your calling. Some are warnings, steering you away from danger. Some are revelations, showing you glimpses of your assignment. Some are encouragement, reminding you of promises not yet fulfilled. And some are warfare, exposing the enemy's schemes so that you can stand against them in prayer. Each one matters, because each one is part of heaven's dialogue with you. Visions, too, carry layers. They may seem strange, filled with symbols and images that confuse at first. But symbols are heaven's way of speaking across generations and cultures. They carry depth beyond words, painting pictures that your spirit can grasp even when your mind cannot. Do not dismiss them as fantasy. Do not brush them away. Hold them. Pray over them. And wait. The meaning will surface in time. Beloved, the sign you saw was confirmation that heaven has already been speaking to you in more ways than you realized. The dreams you carried, the visions you glimpsed, these were not disconnected fragments. They are all part of the same tapestry. God has been weaving a pattern of communication with you, showing you again and again that you are chosen, that you are guided, that you are not walking blind. Chosen one. Your dreams and visions are sacred. Treat them with reverence. Write them down. Even if they seem unclear, revisit them. Even if they feel confusing, pray over them. Even if they stir unease. For often, the message grows clearer with time. What seems small in the moment may later prove to be the key to understanding your season. Remember Joseph. His dreams were mocked by his brothers, misunderstood by his family, yet they were true. And in time, they unfolded with precision. The same may be true of you. What you dream, what you see, may not make sense to those around you now. They may even resist it. But hold on. The day will come when what you carried in the night will be revealed in the light. Beloved, you are not imagining things. You are not reaching for meaning where none exists. You are living within the flow of heaven's promise, dreams and visions poured out as signs of your chosenness. The strange sign you saw was simply another thread in this sacred conversation. So do not be discouraged when others dismiss what you carry. They are not meant to understand it yet. Revelation is often entrusted to the chosen, long before it is revealed to the crowd. Your task is not to convince others, it is to steward what you have been given. And when the time comes, the meaning will unfold, and the fruit will testify that it was real. Beloved, let this truth strengthen you. Your nights are not wasted. Your visions are not vain. And your sensitivity is not foolishness. You are chosen. And heaven has chosen dreams and visions as part of the way it shapes you. The sign you witnessed was only a reminder of what has been true all along. You are hearing. You are seeing. And you are being guided. Lift your head. Chosen one. Do not fear the mystery of your dreams. Do not despise the strangeness of your visions. They are gifts, not curses. They are confirmations, not confusions. They are part of heaven's language of love for you. Chosen one. Pause and realize the weight of this truth. Your journey was never meant to be walked alone. Yes, you are chosen. Yes, you are marked. Yes, you are set apart. But heaven has also designed a community of light-bearers to rise with you. The strange sign you saw was not only a confirmation of your destiny, it was also a summons into connection. For the flame within you grows brighter when joined with others who carry the same fire. Beloved, Isolation has been one of your greatest battles. You have felt unseen, misunderstood, even abandoned. You wondered why people drifted away, why circles broke, why relationships collapsed. The loneliness was heavy, and at times it made you question your worth. But hear this clearly. Isolation was never your end. It was preparation. Heaven set you apart so that when the right connections appeared, you would recognize them as holy. The ancient words recorded in Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 9, remind us with clarity, two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. Beloved, your calling is personal, but it is not solitary. Even the strongest chosen ones need others to rise with them. Moses had Aaron. David had Jonathan. Esther had Mordecai. Jesus sent the disciples out 2 by 2. And you, too, are meant to walk in alignment with those heaven sends. The sign you saw was a reminder that heaven is aligning you not only with your purpose but also with your people, those who will see the light in you without fear, those who will carry you when you are weary, those who will sharpen your fire when it grows dim. This is why you must remain connected, not just to heaven, but to a community of faith and encouragement. Beloved, do not underestimate the power of unity. One flame is bright, but many flames together form a blaze that darkness cannot withstand. Alone, you can endure, but together you can transform. Alone you carry light, but together you become a torch that ignites entire atmospheres. This is why heaven is urging you toward connection. This is why the sign you saw came with such urgency. It was heaven reminding you that isolation cannot hold you anymore. Chosen one, your voice matters. Your testimony carries weight. Your story holds power, but it becomes even greater when shared. That is why it is important to lift your voice not only in private, but in spaces where other chosen ones can hear. When you speak, you encourage. When you share, you strengthen. When you declare, you multiply the fire. And with that same sincerity, I tell you this, if these words are stirring something within you, do not keep them locked inside. Like this message as an act of agreement that you receive it. Share it, not out of routine, but because someone else needs to hear what you just heard. Comment your thoughts, because your words may become confirmation for another chosen one. And subscribe, not for numbers, but to remain aligned with the steady flow of messages that heaven is pouring into this space. Every act of connection matters. Every step of engagement multiplies light. Heaven designed us to strengthen one another, to remind one another, to walk together. And when you choose to connect, you are resisting the enemy's attempt to isolate you. You are declaring, I am not walking this road alone. I am part of a rising family of chosen ones across the earth. Beloved, the strange sign you saw was not only for you. It was also for those who will hear your testimony. The miracle in your life will become the spark for another. The breakthrough in your journey will ignite hope in someone else. This is how heaven multiplies its message through chosen ones who dare to share what they have seen. Do not hide your light any longer. Do not keep silent about what you carry. The world needs your fire. Heaven has marked you not only to endure, but to inspire. And when you step into that boldness, when you share without fear, when you connect without hesitation, you fulfill one of the greatest purposes of being chosen. You become a beacon for others. Beloved, The enemy fears unity more than anything. He knows that isolated flames are easier to extinguish. That is why he tried to convince you that you were alone, that no one could understand, that your battles were unique. But now you know the truth. You are not alone. The sign you saw was proof that heaven is still speaking, still guiding, still connecting you. And the family of chosen ones is rising all around you. Lift your head. Chosen one, the time for isolation has ended. The time for hiding has passed. You are being called not only to embrace your light, but to join it with others. And when you do, nothing can stop the blaze that will rise. So let your heart be steady. Let your spirit be strong. And let this truth root deep inside you. You are chosen. You are connected. And you are part of something far greater than yourself. Chosen one. The sign you saw was not only a whisper of comfort or a confirmation of calling, it was also a line drawn in the sand. It was heaven declaring that you have reached the moment of decision. No longer can you drift between two paths. No longer can you delay between yes and no. You are being summoned to declare with your mouth what your spirit has long known. Beloved, declarations matter. Words are not empty, they are seeds. What you say has power to shape what you step into. That is why heaven does not simply call you in silence, but presses you to speak. Speaking seals what is stirring inside. Speaking shifts the atmosphere around you. Speaking draws heaven's strength into your journey. The decision must not only live in your heart, it must rise on your lips. The prophet Elijah once stood before Israel when their hearts wavered. He cried out as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. Beloved, that same cry echoes to you now. How long will you wait? How long will you hesitate? The sign you saw was heaven's way of pressing the question. Will you speak your choice? Chosen one. Heaven delights in declarations because they are acts of faith. Faith is not silence, it is sound. When you say, I belong to the Lord, you are not just expressing a belief, you are drawing a line that the enemy cannot cross. When you say, I choose my destiny, you are not just making a statement, you are releasing authority that shifts your future. Heaven hears. Hell trembles. The world is changed by simple words spoken with holy conviction. Beloved, this is why silence has felt so heavy for you. Your voice is not ordinary, it carries weight. That is why the enemy has tried so hard to silence you. Whether through fear, shame, or doubt, he knows the moment you speak. Chains will break. He knows the moment you declare. Doors will open. He knows the moment you release sound. The atmosphere will shift. You may feel weak, uncertain, even unworthy. But your strength is not in eloquence, it is in honesty. Heaven does not require a speech. Heaven requires a yes. The sign you saw was heaven saying, now is the time to open your mouth and release what is inside your spirit. Beloved, declarations are not only for you, they ripple outward. When you say yes, others hear courage. When you confess truth, others find alignment. When you proclaim destiny, others recognize their own. You may not even realize the influence of your voice, but heaven does. That is why heaven will not allow you to stay silent any longer. Think of how creation itself began. God spoke, and light appeared. God spoke. And oceans divided. God spoke. And life began. Sound carried creation into being. And you, created in His image, carry that same pattern. What you declare has creative power. This is why your silence has been so costly and why your speech will be so powerful. Beloved, the time has come for you to declare no more hiding, no more hesitation, no more whispers buried inside your chest. Let your mouth align with your spirit. Let your voice echo the truth heaven already wrote. The sign you saw was heaven's trumpet, urging you to respond. And now, as a prophetic act of agreement, I invite you to type these words in the comments. I choose Him. Just 3 words, but they carry eternal weight. By writing them, you are not just engaging a screen, you are stepping into alignment. You are declaring before heaven, before the enemy, and before your own heart that you belong fully, wholly, and completely to the one who chose you. Do not dismiss this as small. It is not small. It is monumental. Heaven honors simple declarations spoken with faith. Hell trembles when chosen ones type 3 words in obedience, and your spirit strengthens when your choice leaves your lips and becomes written reality. Chosen one. The sign you saw was heaven's invitation into boldness. You have wavered long enough. You have waited long enough. Now is the moment. Declare it. Speak it. Align with it. And as you do, watch the shift that follows. For the atmosphere responds when the chosen ones release their yes. Beloved, never again underestimate your voice. It carries authority. It carries destiny. It carries light. The time for silence has ended. The time for declaration has come. And the strange sign you saw was heaven asking you, one last time, will you speak? Chosen one. The strange sign you saw was not simply a message for the present moment. It was also a glimpse into your preparation for what lies ahead. For every chosen one, there is always a season of hidden training, of shaping, of discipline that carves strength into the spirit. You are not simply being comforted, you are being prepared. And this preparation is as holy as the calling itself. Beloved, do not despise the process. Preparation rarely feels glorious. It feels like obscurity, like repetition, like waiting when you long to run. Yet preparation is the soil where destiny takes root. Without it, the fruit would wither. Without it, the fire would burn uncontrolled. Preparation does not weaken you. It strengthens you for the weight of what is to come. Consider the shepherd boy David. Long before he faced Goliath, he faced lions and bears in the solitude of the fields. Alone, unseen, uncelebrated. Yet those battles were training. They built courage in him, sharpened skill in him, and carved faith into him. By the time the giant stood before him, victory was already certain. Why? Because preparation had already sealed the outcome. The same is true for you. The strange sign you saw was not only heaven's comfort, but also heaven's reminder. The giants you will face are real, but the preparation you carry is greater. Every hidden battle you have fought, every silent victory you have endured, every lonely night you survived, they have all been part of your training. Beloved, it is easy to grow weary in preparation. You wonder, when will the waiting end? When will the fullness begin? Yet the waiting is not wasted. Each delay has been precision. Each pause has been protection. The sign you saw was heaven's assurance that none of your preparation has been meaningless. Every detail matters. Every lesson counts. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 25. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last. But we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Beloved, you are in training not for temporary reward, but for eternal crown. That is why the process feels so intense. That is why the shaping feels so sharp. The crown awaiting you is not of this world. It is eternal. Chosen one. Preparation is not only about building strength, it is about refining character. Strength without character can destroy. Power without humility can corrupt. Calling without discipline can collapse. This is why heaven allows you to walk through seasons where your faith is stretched, your patience tested, your humility sharpened. It is not punishment, it is protection. Heaven is shaping you into a vessel that can carry glory without breaking under its weight. Think of how many times you have been misunderstood. Each time taught you resilience. Think of the times you were forced to wait. Each season built patience. Think of the moments when doors closed suddenly. Each one refined your discernment. Beloved, all of it has been part of the same preparation. The sign you saw was confirmation that you are nearly ready. The season of obscurity has not been wasted. It has been essential. Heaven has not forgotten you. Heaven has been equipping you. Just as a warrior does not step into battle without training, you have not been released prematurely. You are being prepared for a fight that others could not endure, for a victory others could not carry. Beloved, preparation also strips away what does not belong. You may have lost people, places, and even parts of yourself along the way. It hurt. It felt like subtraction, but it was holy subtraction. What was removed was never meant to stay. Heaven knows what weight you can carry, and preparation ensures you do not enter your assignment with baggage that would crush you. Chosen one. Allow this truth to strengthen your heart. The sign you saw was not a promise of instant arrival, but of assured readiness. Heaven is not rushing you, it is rooting you. And when the moment of unveiling comes, you will not stumble into it unprepared. You will stand steady, equipped by the very process you once despised. Do not compare your journey to others. Some may seem to rise faster, to shine sooner, to step into doors more quickly. But what looks like speed is not always strength. What looks like success is not always sustainability. You are not called to sprint, you are called to endure. And endurance requires preparation. Beloved, preparation is sacred. Treat it as holy. Do not rush it. Do not resent it. Do not waste it. Every day of waiting, every hidden battle, every silent season, they are chiseling you into a vessel fit for eternal glory. The strange sign you saw was heaven's reminder. You are being prepared, and the preparation is nearly complete. So walk forward with patience. Carry your process with honor. Let every delay remind you that heaven is intentional, and let the fire of endurance burn within you, knowing that the crown you will carry will not fade. Chosen one. The sign you saw was not only a whisper of destiny, and not only a warning of urgency, it was also a revelation of the authority you carry. You may not always feel it. You may not always see it. But the unseen world knows it. Darkness trembles when you rise in alignment with what has been given to you. The authority of a chosen one is not borrowed, it is inherited. It flows from the throne of God into the lives of those He has set apart. Beloved, authority is not the same as influence. Influence may win crowds, but authority shifts atmospheres. Influence may sway opinions, but authority breaks chains. Authority is not about how loud your voice is, it is about the weight your words carry in the spirit. And you, even in your weakness, have been given this authority. The enemy has worked hard to keep you blind to it. If he cannot strip you of the gift, he will try to make you doubt it. He whispers that you are powerless, that your prayers are empty, that your voice carries no weight. But heaven's truth is stronger, your authority is real. And the sign you saw was a reminder that it is time to use it. The ancient words recorded in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19. Still thunder with power. I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. This is not a metaphor, only it is reality. You have been entrusted with authority to confront darkness, to dismantle lies, to release freedom wherever you walk. Beloved, authority does not mean life will be easy. It means battles will come, but you will not fight them empty-handed. It means storms will rise, but you will not drown. It means resistance will intensify, but victory has already been placed in your hands. The authority you carry ensures that the enemy's power, though loud, is not final. Chosen one, think back on the moments when you prayed in desperation. At times, you thought your words fell into silence, yet later, you saw answers appear, shifts in circumstances, breakthroughs that could not be explained. That was not coincidence. That was authority. Heaven responded to your voice, and darkness was forced to retreat. You did not always notice it in the moment, but your words carried weight. Beloved, authority grows as you use it. A sword left in its sheath does not sharpen. A gift buried in the ground does not multiply. The authority inside you must be exercised to expand. Every time you declare truth, every time you stand firm, every time you resist temptation, you are strengthening the authority you carry. That is why the enemy tries to silence you, because he knows that if you realize your authority, you will walk in victory. He cannot stop. The sign you saw was not only heaven's voice, it was also heaven's challenge. Will you rise into the authority already written over you? Will you step into the boldness that has always been yours? The strange sign was heaven calling you to stop living as if you are powerless and to start walking as the warrior you already are. Beloved, authority is not arrogance. It is not pride. It is humility wrapped in strength. It is the recognition that your power comes not from you, but from the one who chose you. You do not need to manufacture it. You do not need to strive for it. You only need to stand in it. Authority is not about shouting louder. It is about standing firmer. And you, chosen one, have been crafted to stand. Think of how Jesus carried authority. He did not beg darkness to retreat. He commanded it. He did not negotiate with storms. He silenced them. He did not run from opposition. He confronted it with truth. That same spirit dwells in you. The same authority that calmed seas and broke chains is alive in your spirit. The sign you saw was heaven's way of reminding you, you carry more than you realize. Beloved, This is why your life has felt like a battlefield. The authority on your life has always been a threat. The enemy does not waste energy on those who pose no danger. He targeted you because he recognized the authority you would one day step into. Every attack, every resistance, every battle, it was all meant to distract you from discovering the truth about yourself. But the sign you saw has shattered the lie. You are not powerless. You are marked with authority. Chosen one. It is time to change how you walk. No more shrinking. No more doubting. No more living as if you are fragile. You are not fragile. You are fortified. You are not powerless. You are authorized. And when you step into that awareness, everything around you must respond. Darkness cannot linger in the presence of a chosen one walking in authority. Chains cannot hold when you declare freedom with faith. Atmospheres cannot remain heavy when your light rises in confidence. Beloved, let this truth anchor you. Authority is not something you are waiting to receive. It is something you already have. The sign you saw was heaven's reminder that you are already equipped. The question now is whether you will believe it, whether you will stand in it, whether you will use it. Lift your head. Chosen one. Walk forward with strength. Do not tremble at resistance. It is trembling at you. Do not fear the storm. The storm fears the one who carries authority. Do not doubt your voice. Heaven has already empowered it. The strange sign you saw was heaven's declaration that your authority is alive. It is active, and it is unstoppable. Chosen one. The sign you saw was not an accident, it was a summons. Heaven interrupted your day to remind you that you are not only chosen, not only carried, not only refined, you are being positioned. The time of wandering is coming to an end. The season of delay is closing. You are standing on the threshold of alignment, where your steps, your gifts, and your destiny converge. That is why the sign felt so unusual. It was not merely a comfort, it was an announcement. Beloved, alignment is holy. It is when the inner pull of your spirit matches the outer path of your life. For too long, you have felt the tension of misalignment, your heart longing for more while your circumstances held you back. You have carried a fire inside while your environment seemed to quench it. That tension has been painful, but it has also been preparation. Now the sign you saw is heaven's way of declaring, the pieces are moving. The path is opening. The alignment is beginning. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 6, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. Beloved, this promise is unfolding in your life. Your acknowledgement, even in weakness, even in questions, has not been ignored. Heaven has been guiding you step by step, even when you could not see the whole path. And now, the sign you saw is proof that the straightening has begun. Chosen one. Alignement means clarity. It means the fog lifts. It means decisions become easier, not because the road is without challenge, but because the direction is undeniable. You will begin to see doors open that match what your spirit has carried for years. You will notice opportunities that align with your gifts rather than drain them. The restless tug inside you will begin to meet confirmation outside you. This is the fruit of alignment. Beloved, do not underestimate the beauty of this. Misalignment has been exhausting. It made you question yourself, your worth, your very sanity. You wondered if you were lost, if you missed it, If your whole journey had been in vain, but now heaven is whispering, you have not missed it. You are right on time. The waiting was never wasted. It was leading you to this exact moment. Chosen one. Alignment also brings acceleration. What felt delayed will suddenly move quickly. What seemed stuck will shift. What was denied will now be granted. When your steps are in sync with heaven's rhythm, time itself bends in your favor. Years of struggle can be redeemed in moments of breakthrough. That is why the sign came when it did. It was heaven's way of preparing you for the suddenness of what is about to unfold. Beloved, you may fear that you are not ready. You may think you need more time, more strength, more clarity. But alignment does not depend on your perfection, it depends on your positioning. Heaven has already gone ahead of you. Heaven has already opened the path. Your role is not to manufacture readiness, but to step into what has been prepared. The sign you saw was heaven, reminding you, you are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are aligned. Every detour you hated, every closed door you mourned, every delay you resented, they were all part of the alignment. You are not arriving late. You are arriving right on time. Beloved, alignment does not mean the absence of warfare. It means the assurance of victory. In fact, warfare may intensify as alignment begins, because the enemy knows your steps are dangerous when they are in sync with heaven. But do not fear. Resistance is only proof that you are on the right path, and your authority, already confirmed, is more than enough to overcome what rises against you. Chosen one. Let your heart be steady. You are entering a season where what you see will finally begin to match what you have always known in your spirit. This is why the sign felt so personal. It was heaven's way of saying, I am aligning the outer with the inner, the seen with the unseen, the now with the eternal. And now, beloved, I invite you into a prophetic act of agreement. Just as heaven has given you a sign of alignment, respond with a number that represents completion and fullness. Type this number in the comments. 9,999. By writing it, you are declaring, I step into alignment. I receive completion. I embrace the fullness of what heaven has prepared for me. This is not superstition, it is agreement. It is you saying yes to the alignment already unfolding. Chosen one. The sign you saw was heaven's way of preparing your heart for acceleration. You will not remain in delay. You will not wander in circles. You are entering the straight path, the aligned steps, the unfolding destiny. Lift your head, steady your spirit, and walk forward boldly, for the time of alignment is here. Chosen one. The strange sign you saw was not meant to end with a fleeting moment of wonder. It was meant to awaken a lifelong response. Too many people see and then forget, hear and then drift away, feel and then dismiss. But not you. You are chosen. And that means what heaven shows you becomes a seed planted deep, growing stronger with every reminder. The sign was not just confirmation, it was an invitation to partnership. Beloved, partnership with heaven means more than belief. It means action. It means letting the revelation you carry shape your daily walk. When heaven shows you something, it is not to entertain you, it is to activate you. You have been entrusted with vision because you are called to steward it faithfully. The sign you saw carries responsibility, and stepping into it is how you honor what was given. The apostle wrote in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 6. For this reason I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on of my hands. Beloved, gifts grow dim when neglected, but they blaze when stewarded. Heaven has placed a flame in you, and the sign you saw was heaven's way of saying, do not let it fade. Fan it into fire. Step into action. Chosen one. Your voice matters. Your story matters. Your obedience matters. You may think your steps are small, but they ripple into eternity. The person who hears your testimony, the life touched by your words, the heart strengthened by your courage, these are eternal impacts. Never underestimate how heaven can multiply one act of faith. Beloved, partnership with heaven also means connection with others. You are not meant to carry this fire in isolation. There are chosen ones all across the earth, sensing the same urgency, hearing the same whispers, responding to the same signs. And when you connect with them, your flame grows brighter. Isolation dims, but connection multiplies. That is why heaven keeps urging you to remain in alignment with messages like this, to remind you that you are part of something larger than yourself. With that same sincerity, I encourage you, if this word is stirring your spirit, hold fast to it. Like this message, not out of routine, but as an act of faith that you recognize it as truth. Share it, because there are others waiting for confirmation, wondering if what they saw or felt was real. Your simple act of sharing may be the very bridge that brings their awakening. Subscribe, not for numbers, but so you remain connected to the stream of reminders heaven is pouring out in this season. Every connection keeps your flame alive and aligns you with others who are walking the same path. Beloved, the enemy fears partnership. He knows that isolated flames can be smothered, but united fires create wild infernos. That is why he has tried to silence you, to discourage you, to convince you that your steps do not matter. But the sign you saw was heaven breaking through those lies, reminding you that your obedience is dangerous to darkness. Chosen one, do not wait for perfection before you act. Heaven does not require flawless steps, it requires faithful ones. The sign you saw was not saying, be perfect. It was saying, be willing to speak, even when your voice shakes. Be willing to walk, even when the path is unclear. Be willing to trust, even when fear whispers loudly. Heaven blesses willingness, and through it, you will see doors open that you never imagined possible. Beloved, remember this: the greatest testimonies in history did not come from the strongest, but from the willing. Moses stuttered, yet he led nations. Gideon doubted, yet he delivered Israel. Esther trembled, yet she saved her people. Peter failed, yet he became a rock. None were flawless, but all were faithful. And you, too, are invited into that same lineage of those who dared to say yes when heaven sent a sign. The sign you saw was not meant to fade into memory. It was meant to mark a turning point. Look at your life before the sign, and look at it after. The difference is this: you are no longer unaware. You are accountable to what you saw. And heaven does not reveal without reason. Heaven has shown you because heaven intends to use you. Beloved, partnership with heaven also means endurance. The path ahead will not be without resistance. Darkness will not stand by quietly as you rise, but endurance has already been forged in you through years of struggle. The sign was not only confirmation of calling, it was proof that you are strong enough to carry it. Heaven does not assign what you cannot bear. If the sign came to you, it means you are ready. So let your heart be steady. Let your faith rise. And let this truth burn within you. Heaven has chosen you not just to see signs, but to become a sign. Your life itself will be a message. Your endurance will be a testimony. Your obedience will be a signal to others that God is still speaking, still moving, still guiding His chosen ones. Beloved, the sign you saw was heaven's way of saying, I have entrusted you with this, and I will walk with you through it. You are not alone in the partnership. You are not left to carry it by your own strength. Heaven is your companion. Angels are your witnesses. The Spirit is your guide. Together, you cannot fail. So step boldly. Chosen one, do not bury the sign. Do not silence the voice. Do not neglect the fire. Fan it. Feed it. Follow it. And as you do, you will see the fullness of why heaven interrupted your ordinary day with such an extraordinary reminder. Chosen one. The sign you saw was not random, it was personal. Heaven does not scatter its messages carelessly. Every detail of that moment was crafted for you. Aim at your heart. Designed to pierce your awareness. Why? Because heaven is asking for your response. Not tomorrow. Not someday. No. Beloved, the call over your life is not passive. It demands an answer. The reason you cannot shake that image, that feeling, that sign, is because it was never meant to fade away. It was meant to linger until you chose. The tension you feel in your spirit is not confusion, it is conviction. Heaven is waiting to hear what you will say. The Apostle Paul writes in the book of Romans, chapter 10, verse 9, if you declare with your mouth, Jesus is Lord, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Beloved, notice the pattern. It is not enough to silently believe. Belief must rise into confession. Conviction must become declaration. What is inside must come out. Chosen one, your words carry power. We have spoken of this before, but now it becomes urgent. When you declare truth, heaven responds. When you declare allegiance, chains break. When you declare identity, your spirit aligns with destiny. Silence may feel safe, but silence does not shift atmospheres. You were not chosen to stay silent. You were chosen to speak. Beloved, the enemy has tried to convince you that your words do not matter. That whisper in your mind that says, it's just words, nothing changes, is a lie. Words shape creation. Words anchor destiny. Words carry spirit. And the moment you release yours in alignment with heaven, resistance begins to crumble. The sign you saw was heaven urging you to no longer delay the power of your own declaration. Perhaps you wonder, what should I even say? Heaven is not asking for long speeches. Heaven is not waiting for perfection. Heaven is simply waiting for truth. A short, simple, sincere declaration is enough to move mountains. You do not need to impress God, you only need to agree with Him. Chosen one. Heaven has already spoken over you. You are mine. You are chosen. You are called. Now it waits for you to echo it back. That is the sacred beauty of declaration. It is not you creating something new. It is you agreeing with what has always been written, and agreement unlocks access. Beloved, the sign you saw was proof that heaven is closer than you realize. That closeness deserves your response. To ignore it is to let the moment pass. To respond is to seal it forever. Which will you choose? This is why I invite you now into a prophetic act of response. Type these words in the comments. I am His. Just 3 words. But they carry eternal weight. When you write them, you are not only engaging a message, you are declaring alignment. You are stamping your soul with truth. You are saying before heaven, before earth, before every unseen watcher, I belong to the one who chose me. Beloved, do not underestimate what this act means. When chosen ones declare even a few words, the ripple is great. Angels take notice. Darkness recoils. Heaven rejoices. Your own heart is strengthened. Your own spirit is anchored. Do not brush this off as small. It is holy. The sign you saw was heaven's way of pressing you into this very moment. You cannot walk away unchanged. You cannot pretend it was meaningless. Something inside you already knows. This is the time to declare, to seal, to stand. Chosen one. Let me tell you why this matters. For years, you have been pulled between voices. The voice of fear, the voice of doubt, the voice of shame. Each one tried to claim you, to mark you, to silence you. But now, when you declare, I am His, you silence those voices forever. You declare ownership, not by fear, not by failure, not by the past, but by God alone. Beloved, the moment you type those words, you shift realms. What was once uncertain becomes secure. What was once wavering becomes steady. What was once hidden becomes revealed. Your declaration is the doorway into a greater dimension of destiny. That is why heaven sent the sign. That is why your spirit feels this urgency. That is why the time is now. Do not wait for perfect emotions. Do not wait for perfect clarity. Declare in faith, and clarity will follow. Declare in obedience, and feelings will align. Declaration is not about what you feel, it is about what you choose. And you, chosen one, are choosing today whom you belong to. Beloved, let this settle deep. Heaven delights in your yes. It does not need eloquence. It does not demand perfection. It only desires truth. And when you say, I am His, you are giving God the yes He has waited for since the beginning of your story. The sign you saw was heaven's invitation. Your declaration is heaven's answer. Do not miss this holy exchange. Speak it, type it, seal it, and let the ripple carry you into the fullness of destiny that has been waiting for you all along. Chosen one. The sign you saw was not just about where you are now, it was also about where you are going. It was not a fleeting encouragement, it was a prophecy pointing forward. Heaven never reveals without purpose. When God interrupts your ordinary, it is because He is preparing you for what is next. And what is coming is not small. It is the unveiling of promises that have been spoken over you since the beginning. Beloved, prophecy is not fortune-telling. It is not vague hope. It is the unveiling of heaven's intent. It is a glimpse into what is written in eternity that has not yet unfolded in time. When you saw that sign, you were catching sight of a future already secured, but not yet revealed. It was a thread of the eternal, woven into your present moment. The ancient words recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 46, verse 10, carry this truth. I make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times, what is still to come. I say, my purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. Beloved, this is why you can trust the sign you saw. It was not random, it was a piece of a plan, already determined. The end has been written before the beginning ever began. Chosen one. Your future is not uncertain. It is not a gamble, not a roll of chance. It is secure in the one who chose you. That does not mean every detail will be easy. There will be valleys. There will be storms. But the outcome is certain. Your destiny will unfold. Your purpose will manifest. The glory marked over you will rise. The sign you saw was proof that you are on track. Even when the path feels unclear, beloved, think back to seasons when you doubted whether you were moving forward, times when you felt stuck, when progress seemed impossible, when the waiting felt endless. Yet, even then, heaven was orchestrating. Even then, your steps were being ordered. Even then, the timeline of your destiny was being woven with precision. The sign you saw was confirmation that nothing has been wasted, nothing has been lost, nothing has been forgotten. Chosen one. Your future holds promise because your past has been redeemed. Every mistake you feared disqualified you has already been folded into your testimony. Every detour you thought delayed you has been woven back into alignment. Every scar you carry is not shame, it is preparation. Heaven wastes nothing. The sign you saw was heaven saying, even what you thought was broken, I am turning into beauty. Beloved, prophecy does not erase your responsibility, it awakens it. You are not a spectator in your own story. You are a participant. Heaven has spoken. But your agreement pulls the promise into reality. When you live in obedience, when you walk in faith, when you refuse to quit, you are aligning yourself with the future already written. The sign you saw was heaven's invitation to live in expectation, not resignation. Chosen one. Expectation is not passive waiting, it is active readiness. It means preparing your heart as if the promise could arrive any moment. It means walking in faith as if the door could open today. It means living in alignment even before the fulfillment arrives. The sign you saw was not only proof of what is coming, it was instruction to prepare now. Beloved, preparation for promise often feels strange. Noah built an ark before rain ever touched the earth. Abraham left home before knowing where he was going. Joseph carried dreams long before they came true. Each one looked foolish in the eyes of others, but each one was prophetic in their obedience. You, too, will be called to prepare. Before you see, do not despise the strangeness. It is the pattern of the chosen. The sign you saw may have felt unusual, but that is because prophecy rarely fits into normal categories. Heaven speaks in ways that bypass logic and awaken faith. You were not meant to analyze it endlessly. You were meant to receive it, believe it, and prepare accordingly. Chosen one. Your future will surprise you, not because heaven is uncertain, but because heaven's plans exceed your imagination. You dream in fragments, heaven dreams in fullness. You see limits, heaven sees expansion. The sign you saw was heaven pulling back the curtain just enough to remind you, what is coming is greater than what has been. Beloved, let this truth steady you. Do not fear the unknown. Do not dread the future. It is not a place of chaos, it is a place of fulfillment. The same God who gave you the sign is the one walking you toward its completion. He does not reveal without guiding. He does not promise without fulfilling. He does not call without equipping. Chosen one. The prophecy over your life is alive. It cannot be buried. It cannot be erased. It cannot be stolen. Even when circumstances seem to contradict it. Even when time seems to delay it. Even when voices around you mock it, it stands. Heaven's word is unshakable, and the sign you saw was a reminder that your future is already secure in that word. So, lift your head, walk with confidence, carry expectation. The path ahead may be hidden, but the destination is certain. The strange sign you saw was not a random event. It was a prophetic echo of the glory that awaits you. Chosen one. There is a truth few are willing to face. The path of the chosen is marked not only by glory, but also by suffering. The sign you saw was not simply about victory. It was also a reminder that every crown is forged in fire. You are not being punished by your pain. You are being purified. Every hardship you have endured has been part of heaven's refining process, carving away what cannot remain, strengthening what must endure, and revealing the core of who you are. Beloved, it is easy to despise suffering. It feels unfair, relentless, even cruel. You may have cried out in the night, "Why me? Why so much? Why so long?" Yet the very fact that you ask these questions shows your awareness. You know that your life is not ordinary. And that is why your battles have not been ordinary either. Suffering has been the anvil on which your spirit has been forged. The Word of God declares in the book of Romans, chapter 5, verses 3 and 4, "We also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, character, and character, hope." Beloved, suffering was never meant to end in despair. Its purpose is transformation. It strips away illusions, strengthens your endurance, and anchors your hope in what cannot be shaken. Chosen one. Think of the times you thought suffering would break you, yet somehow, instead of crushing you, it revealed resilience you did not know you had. Every tear shed became water for the seeds of perseverance. Every night endured became testimony of survival. Every wound carried became evidence of hidden strength. You were not destroyed, you were defined. Beloved, suffering is the mark of those who carry eternal weight. It is not proof of abandonment, but of distinction. Others may glide through life untouched, but that is because they were not forged for the same purpose. Your destiny requires depth, and depth is carved through pressure. The sign you saw was heaven reminding you that your scars are not shame, they are seals of chosenness. Chosen one. Suffering also teaches you compassion, because you have been broken. You recognize the brokenness in others. Because you have walked through fire, you know how to guide others through it. Because you have felt the sting of rejection, you now carry the balm of understanding. Your pain has prepared you to become a healer. This is the paradox of the chosen. The very wounds meant to destroy you become the very gifts that equip you. Beloved, there is also mystery in your suffering. Some of it you will never fully understand on this side of eternity. The losses, the betrayals, the unanswered prayers, they remain questions without full answers. Yet even in mystery, there is meaning. Faith is not the absence of questions, It is trust in the midst of them. And your endurance through mystery has been one of your greatest acts of faith. The strange sign you saw was heaven's reminder that your suffering has not been wasted. Every moment of pain has been seen. Every silent tear has been counted. Every hidden battle has been recorded. You may have felt invisible, but heaven never looked away. Your suffering has been sacred in the eyes of God, and it has produced glory that will one day shine through you. Chosen one. Remember this: suffering does not have the final word. Resurrection always follows crucifixion. Morning always follows night. Spring always follows winter. Your suffering was not meant to last forever. It was meant to prepare you for breakthrough. The sign you saw was heaven declaring, the season of endless suffering is giving way to the season of revealed strength. Beloved, when you look back, you will not only see pain, you will see purpose. You will realize that what once felt unbearable became the very thing that built endurance in you. You will recognize that the rejection that stung the most spared you from paths that would have drained you. You will see that the delays that frustrated you aligned you perfectly with destiny's timing. Every suffering, no matter how bitter, carried seeds of future glory. Do not despise your scars. They are not signs of weakness, they are signs of survival. They tell the story of battles fought and battles won. They remind you that though suffering was fierce, it did not consume you. Though fire burned hot, it did not destroy you. Though waters rose high, they did not drown you. You endured, and that endurance is your crown. Beloved, suffering also sharpens your discernment. Those who have walked through fire can recognize its scent on others. You are able to see beneath the surface, to recognize hidden battles, to sense pain others try to conceal. This is not accidental, it is part of your assignment. The world needs chosen ones who have been through the valley, who carry empathy forged in fire. Your suffering has made you that person. The sign you saw was not only comfort, it was validation. It was heaven affirming that your suffering was never in vain. It was the Spirit whispering, I was with you in the fire. I was with you in the flood. I was with you in the silence. And I will use it all for glory. Chosen one. Suffering has refined your faith. It has stripped away shallow belief and replaced it with unshakable trust. You no longer follow God for blessings alone. You follow because you have seen His presence sustain you in pain. This is the faith that moves mountains. The faith that terrifies darkness. The faith that proves you are chosen. Beloved, your journey is not over. More trials may come. More fires may test. More valleys may stretch ahead. But let this truth settle deep. The God who sustained you before will sustain you again. The scars you carry are proof. The sign you saw was heaven's reminder that suffering is not your identity, it is your preparation. You are not defined by pain. You are defined by perseverance. Lift your head. Chosen one. Let your scars testify. Let your story shine. For though suffering marked your journey, glory marks your destiny. The strange sign you saw was not heaven's apology, it was heaven's affirmation. Your pain has been seen. Your endurance has been honored, and your future will be filled with glory. Chosen one. The sign you saw was not simply about your journey alone. It was also about the larger battle you are part of. You must understand that your life is woven into a story greater than yourself. The struggles you face, the victories you win, the whispers you hear, they are all connected to a cosmic war between light and darkness. You are not a spectator. You are a soldier, marked and chosen for this exact moment in history. Beloved, spiritual warfare is not a metaphor. It is reality. The conflicts you feel in your spirit, the resistance you face in your life, the strange heaviness that sometimes surrounds you, they are not random emotions. They are signs of a battle happening in the unseen. You are sensitive because you are chosen, and chosen ones cannot live unaware. The ancient words recorded in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12. Make this clear, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Beloved, this is why your battles have felt so unusual. You were never simply fighting people, you were confronting powers. Chosen one. The sign you saw was not only encouragement, it was strategy. Heaven was opening your eyes to remind you that you cannot fight this battle with natural weapons. Anger will not win it. Fear will not survive it. Human strength cannot endure it. Only spiritual weapons prevail. Prayer, faith, truth, the Word of God, and the authority you carry as one who is chosen. Beloved, consider the resistance you have faced. Think of how often your battles came not from strangers, but from those close to you. That is because the enemy often hides behind familiar faces, hoping to distract you into fighting people instead of the real powers at work. Do not be deceived. Your enemy is not flesh. It is spirit. And when you remember this, your perspective shifts. You stop wasting energy on arguments and start wielding the weapons of heaven. The sign you saw was heaven's way of saying, do not fight small fights. Lift your eyes. See the real war. Engage with the real weapons. Chosen one. Your very existence disrupt darkness. That is why opposition surrounds you. You carry light, and light always exposes what is hidden. Some environments feel heavy to you because your presence unsettles the atmosphere. Some people resist you because your very being convicts what they try to conceal. This is not about you being disliked. It is about you carrying light that darkness cannot stand. Beloved, warfare often feels overwhelming, but do not forget this. Victory is already written. The enemy is not fighting to win, he is fighting to wear you down. He knows his defeat is certain. His only strategy is to distract you, to weaken your focus, to drain your energy so you forget who you are. The sign you saw was heaven's reminder that you are already on the winning side. The war may be fierce, but the outcome is unshakable. Chosen one. Remember how Jesus confronted warfare. He did not shout endlessly at demons. He spoke with authority, and they fled. He did not beg storms to calm. He commanded them, and they obeyed. He did not crumble under temptation. He resisted with truth, and the enemy retreated. That same spirit dwells in you. That same authority is in your voice. The sign you saw was heaven reminding you that you do not need to fear the war. You only need to stand in your authority. Beloved, spiritual warfare is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is subtle. It is the whisper of discouragement at the edge of breakthrough. It is the temptation to quit when you are closest to victory. It is the heaviness that comes when you are about to rise. Recognize it for what it is. Do not give in. Stand firm. You are chosen for this, equipped for this, sustained for this. The strange sign you saw was not a random symbol. It was heaven giving you strategy. It was saying, stay alert. Stay armored. Stay aligned. For the battle is real, but so is your protection. You are clothed in light. You are surrounded by angels. You are strengthened by the Spirit. You are not walking into this war alone. You are backed by heaven's army. Chosen one. Do not despise the warfare. It is proof that you are dangerous to darkness. If you were powerless, you would not be targeted. If you carried nothing, you would not be resisted. The fact that the battle rages around you is the clearest evidence that you carry glory inside you. Do not interpret warfare as failure. Interpret it as confirmation. Beloved, victory in warfare does not always look like immediate change in circumstances. Sometimes it looks like peace in the storm. Sometimes it looks like faith in the fire. Sometimes it looks like endurance when everything else says quit. Do not measure your victory by what you see alone. Measure it by the fact that you are still standing. The enemy tried to break you, yet here you are alive, awake, chosen. That is victory. The sign you saw was heaven's reminder that you are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from victory. The cross has already secured the end. The resurrection has already sealed the triumph. You are not hoping to win, you are enforcing a win already written. Chosen one. Lift your eyes. Do not be intimidated by the shadows. Do not tremble at the noise of battle. You are chosen to carry light into darkness, and light does not ask permission to shine. The sign you saw was proof that heaven is with you in the fight, that your weapons are mighty, and that the outcome is sure. So stand firm. Do not retreat. Do not waver. The war is real, but so is your authority. The enemy may rage, but heaven reigns. And the strange sign you saw was heaven's declaration. You are a warrior. You are equipped, and you will not be defeated. Chosen one. The strange sign you saw was never meant to remain a mystery. It was not placed in your path to confuse you, nor to taunt you with riddles you could not solve. It was given as a seal, a reminder, a declaration of who you truly are and of the destiny that is already unfolding. Heaven does not waste its language. When a sign appears, it is because something in your journey has reached a turning point. Beloved, you must see this clearly. That moment was not small. It may have lasted only seconds, but in the spirit, it echoed like thunder. Signs are not about their size, they are about their significance. The star that guided the wise men was only a light in the sky, yet it carried the weight of an entire prophecy. The burning bush was just a plant in the desert, yet it held the voice of God. The strange sign you saw carried that same kind of weight. It was heaven announcing, you are chosen, you are called, you are seen. The ancient words recorded in the book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 16, declare this truth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Beloved, this is why the sign matters. It was not a random interruption. It was a reminder that every step of your life has already been known. Every moment already woven into a story too great to be erased. Chosen one. When you recall the sign, let it anchor you in times of doubt. When fear whispers that you are alone, remember that heaven interrupted your ordinary day to say otherwise. When shame tries to bury you, remember that heaven has already declared your chosenness. When despair tempts you to give up, remember that heaven still speaks through signs. And one of those signs was written directly to you. Beloved, the journey ahead will not always be smooth. The chosen path never is. But the sign you saw guarantees one thing: you are not walking it alone. God is not distant. He is not silent. He is near, and He is speaking. The sign was His way of saying, even when you do not hear my voice in words, I will send reminders that I am here. Chosen one, do not dismiss the weight of memory. The sign you saw will continue to speak long after the moment has passed. That is the nature of divine reminders. They echo. Every time you recall it, strength will return. Every time you picture it, faith will rise. Every time you hold it close, you will remember you are part of something eternal. Beloved, your life is not small. Your struggles are not wasted. Your tears are not ignored. The sign was proof that heaven invests in you, that your journey carries weight beyond what you see. Others may overlook you. The world may misunderstand you. But heaven does not. Heaven knows your name, your battles, your purpose. That is why the sign came. The strange sign was also a prophecy of victory. It did not arrive to tell you only of hardship. It came to remind you of the outcome. You will not be lost. You will not be consumed. You will not be forgotten. The story ends in triumph, no matter how fierce the middle may feel. That sign was heaven's way of stamping your destiny with certainty. Chosen one. The greatest danger you face is not defeat, it is forgetfulness. If the enemy cannot destroy you, he will try to make you forget who you are. He will whisper that the sign was coincidence, that it meant nothing, that you imagined it. Resist this. Do not let memory fade. Hold on to the sign with both hands, for it is your anchor in storms, your compass in confusion, your reminder when shadows fall. Beloved, let this truth echo within you. You are chosen not because of what you have done, but because of who you are. Heaven's love is not earned, it is given. The sign you saw was not a reward for perfection. It was a reminder of identity, and identity cannot be erased. As you walk forward, let the sign fuel your courage. Let it steady your steps when you feel weary. Let it remind you that your life is not random, your calling is not fragile, and your future is not uncertain. You are chosen, and nothing can unchoose what heaven has already written. Chosen one. The sign you saw will mark you forever. You cannot go back to who you were before it. You have been awakened. You have been reminded. You have been summoned into deeper awareness. This is not the end. It is the beginning of a new chapter. The path ahead will still carry battles, but it will also carry glory. The fire within you will burn brighter. The authority upon you will grow stronger. The destiny before you will unfold with greater clarity. Beloved, the strange sign you saw was not an accident. It was not small. It was not meaningless. It was heaven's personal message to you. You are mine. You are chosen. You are not forgotten. Carry it. Remember it. Live by it. And let it remind you every day that the unseen hand of God is guiding your every step. Chosen one. Now that the final words of this journey rest before you, pause and feel the weight of what has just unfolded. 30 sections. 30 revelations. 30 reminders, all echoing the same eternal truth. You are not here by accident. You are chosen, sealed, and marked by heaven. The strange sign you saw was not random, it was divine. It was heaven's way of interrupting your ordinary life with extraordinary purpose. Beloved, let every word you heard settle like seed in your spirit. Do not let it fade with time. Carry it with you into every valley and every mountain. Remember, heaven's eyes have never left you. Heaven's hand has never failed you. And heaven's voice will continue to reach you. You are chosen, and that identity is eternal. The ancient words written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 1, remind us, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine." Beloved, take these words as your own. Let them echo louder than the voices of fear, shame, or doubt. Let them remind you daily that you belong not to the chaos of the world, but to the one who formed you. Chosen one. This script may close here, but your journey does not. In fact, it is only beginning. The pages of your life still turn. The chapters of your story still unfold. Carry what you have received and live it boldly. Stand as light in darkness. Speak truth where silence reigns. Walk in authority where fear lingers. The world is waiting for the fire you carry. And here, with deep sincerity, I invite you to act in faith. Like this message, not as routine, but as a declaration that you receive what has been spoken. Share it with someone who is searching, because the very sign that awakened you may also awaken them. Comment your thoughts, because your words may become the confirmation another chosen one needs. And subscribe, not for numbers, but to remain aligned with the constant stream of reminders heaven will continue to pour. Every action you take here is not just digital, it is spiritual. It is your way of saying, I hear, I receive, I will walk in this truth. Do not let this end in silence. Let your response seal what heaven has spoken over you. Beloved, lift your head one last time in this journey and know you are chosen, you are seen, you are loved. And the sign you saw was heaven's way of saying that your story is still unfolding in glory. Walk forward now with courage, with fire, and with faith, for your best days, your brightest moments, your deepest victories, they are still ahead.